Hi friends, and welcome back to playing tribute to Ace Attorney's Spirit of Justice, where we are on the second case of the game, the Magical Turnabout. We have just spent a lot of time investigating, and we're gonna need it, because we are about to go into trial, and we've got some foes here, and no real sign of any hope whatsoever. Based on everything that we've learned. All we know is that, of course, we believe that Trucy did not kill Mysterious. Least of all on purpose. I mean, apparently the prosecutor is going to put forward something about murder. Originally it was involuntary manslaughter. But now, well, I guess we'll see what Sadmati says. Time to meet our new prosecutor, guys. I feel like it takes longer and longer for it to type that out. It's anticipation, I'm sure. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Is Apollo okay? He's been muttering to himself all morning. Muttering? What happened to your cords of steel? He's been like that since yesterday. Guess the pressure of today's trial is getting to him. Poor Polly. He's really tearing himself up over all of this. Get it together, Apollo! Yikes! Athena! When did you get here? Try to relax a little bit, will you? You're getting yourself way too worked up. Yeah, but I'm alright. I'm fine. You know, I did a little digging on this Nayuda Sadmati guy. He's apparently not your run-of-the-mill prosecutor. They never are. Oh yeah? What did you find out? Well, they say he wields an incredible power to accurately read a trial's karma and its ultimate fate. What is that supposed to mean? I don't have all the details, but apparently he can foresee how the arguments will go and even lead his opposition. So the defense basically ends up going in whatever direction he has in his head. Man, this is going to be a cakewalk if that's true. Emma did say she talked to him for us, though. Here's hoping that went well. In any case, it sounds like he's going to keep us on our toes. That's why I know you're ready. Oh, this is Phoenix. Flashback. That's why I know you're ready. Why I know I can leave Trucy in the office to you. I believe in you, Apollo. Mr. Wright is putting his faith in me. I can't let him down now. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. There he goes again. It's almost like he's chanting a prayer. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. If you say so, Apollo. The trial will start momentarily. Is the defense ready? Yes! We're fine! Trucy's fate, the fate of the agency, rests on this trial. This is it, Justice. If ever there was a time to shine, it's now. Oh, right. The fate of the agency. I forgot that little bit there. Everything's being repossessed. Because we owe $3 million. But we've yet to see if we even owe that. Because it was only if it was at the fault of the second party, who was Trucy. Oh, fanciness again. All rise. I wonder if there's going to be like 3D cutscenes again. The court is now in session for the trial of Trucy Wright. The defense is ready, Your Honor. And the prosecution? Oh, Prosecutor Sadmati. 1,000 pardons. It was rude of me to keep you waiting. I was praying for the victim. Oh, praying, yes, I see. You're a Curianist monk, correct, prosecutor? Yes, that is correct. I am but a lowly monk from the kingdom of Curian. I beg in advance for the forgiveness and kind patience of everyone here in this court. I am unfamiliar with the proceedings of this country and may make many blunders. He seems like such a gentle-mannered soul, doesn't he? I wonder if Emma had a chance to talk with him about Trucy. He seems like a pleasant guy. Now then, Prosecutor Sadmati, your opening statement, if you would. Certainly. In the name of the Holy Mother, I vow to guide the victim's soul to a land of eternal peace known as the Twilight Realm. Now, let the last rites of the victim begin. Nayuda Sadmati. He's really been making a name for himself, apparently. But that nickname, Last Rites Prosecutor, I wonder how that will come into play today. I mean, this is the last rites of the victim. That's just how they do it. I love how he has a scroll. All of the paperwork has been set to a scroll for him. The incident took place in the middle of a spectacular magic show. The accused performed a magic trick in which she thrust a sword into a coffin. A coffin from which the body of the victim then spilled out, dead from a fatal stabbing. The victim's name was Man of Mystery. They really are running out of the puns. Otherwise known as the Great Mysterious. His blood was found on the sword that was used during the magic trick. Alright, Man of Mystery. So his death was just an unfortunate accident. Yeah, apparently he has something to say about that. Give me just a second. Always want to read the fine print here. Okay. It is only natural for one to assume as such, Your Honor. However, it was no mere accident, but rather a homicide. The prosecution's position is thus, that this was a murder made to look like an accident. I see. And you believe this crime was committed by the defendant? After a thorough consideration of all possible scenarios, I unfortunately had no other choice but to conclude as much. So that's how it's going to be, huh? I guess Emma couldn't convince him after all. Very well. And now let us hear from the defense. Naturally, we maintain that the defendant is innocent, Your Honor. If the defense wouldn't mind, could you please explain your reasoning? My reasoning? Well, I would have to say that my main reason is because I believe in the defendant. I see. So you find it difficult to come up with anything more concrete than that, do you? What a fine demonstration of the fact that you are indeed a lawyer of putrid mind. Wow. Putrid mind? Prosecutor Sadmati. Excuse me, but I don't... What'd he say? I wonder how that translates in Japanese. Because that sounded like Japanese, but maybe it was just gibberish. If you don't mind my asking, Prosecutor, what was that you were just chanting? A sutra of the Holy Mother that guides those of tainted soul toward enlightenment. It is a Curianist incantation to awaken the foolish from their fruitless slumber. Fitting for a lawyer who indulges in such fancy as the innocence of the accused. I see. So basically you're asking the defense to get real? Allow me these few words, defense. It is my duty as a monk to punish sinners and to guide victims' souls to the Twilight Realm. Should you show repentance and admit to the accused guilt now, no harm will come to you. But, should you interfere with my sacred last rites for the victim, then I shall cast you down into the pit of the Twilight Realm. Nope, the Twilight Realm is a nice place. Never mind, that's the other way. The other direction. Along with Trucy Wright. Now wait just 1 minute here. Putrid? Is that any way to address someone in a court of law? Still hung up on putrid. Prosecutor Sadmati, that may be the way you conduct trials in Karain, but I would appreciate it if you would refrain from such charged language here. Your Honor, that was but a Karainist sermon for those who have strayed from the path. Harsh words are often necessary to admonish contemptible deviants who cannot see reason. Oh, I see. I didn't realize. I guess they really do hate defense attorneys in Karain, huh? Even still, that was way, way over the top as far as verbal abuse goes. And the trial's only just begun. Well, defense, I suppose the way a prosecutor does things varies by country. Why don't we look at this as cross-cultural exchange and try to be open-minded about it? What? Bailiff, please bring in the first witness. Do we have Emma? Oh no. Oh no, she's eating snackoos again. She's not in a good mood. Uh-oh, I thought she'd said goodbye to the snackoos. Detective Sky, the courtroom is no place for gorging yourself. What's wrong with having a little snack? Girls gotta eat, right? She, seems a little stressed out. Detective Sky, your testimony, please. Yeah, about that. I just want to state for the record that I believe Trucy Wright is innocent. I'm sorry. Detective Sky, this path you seek to follow is misguided. Giving the wrongdoer false hope will only deepen her despair in the end. But let it go and move on. Acts which go against your duty will earn you divine punishment from the Holy Mother. Aw. Fine. I don't know about the divine part, but I get the punishment bit loud and clear. I guess Emma got assigned tons of paperwork or something for sticking up for Trucy. Or a pay cut. She and Prosecutor Sadmati don't seem to get along very well, do they? Why does it seem that the detective and the prosecutor always have just a very strained relationship? At least since Edgeworth and Gumshoe. Edgeworth and Gumshoe are fine, but everything beyond that, and they're just, ugh. Shall we continue? The prosecution contends that the accused had a clear motive. The evidence, if you would, Detective Sky. Motive? Alright, please take a look at this poster. It's a Troop Grammar poster from 13 years ago. This smear is a little different from the one in Miss Wright's dressing room. This is a revised version of that poster. This one says cancelled under Mr. Rios. That's right, Mr. Rios left the troop after the first version of the poster was printed. Take a look at Mr. Rios' right forearm near his elbow. See the big scar there? Was that in the original one? He apparently got that when he made a mistake while practicing a magic trick. Ouch, that's quite a scar. Because of the accident, Magnifi Grammari concluded Mr. Rios was too unskilled. Just before the show was to open, Magnifi announced Mr. Rios wouldn't be appearing. But in defiance of Magnifi's decision, Mr. Rios tried to go on stage anyway. This in turn caused Magnifi to oust Mr. Rios from the troupe on the spot. He kicked Mr. Rios out? That seems rather extreme. Did he really have to go that far? When it came to magic, Troop Grammari was so passionate, or should I say extreme, about it, that it caused problems for them from time to time. Yes, they even caused this court a mountain of trouble with their extreme antics. And now the troupe's successor has committed a murder. Seems the troupe's rare talent was inherited by the right person after all. A putrid talent for criminality. Enough of the putrid. Jeez. You sound rather extreme yourself, prosecutor. Criminals with impure souls do not deserve sympathy, Your Honor. As I was saying, after his expulsion, Mr. Rios apparently went on to hold a grudge against the troupe. He would tell those close to him I will get my revenge on Troupe Grammari someday. Revenge? That certainly sounds antagonistic. Oh, I had the poster. Darn. I didn't know I had it. I could have looked at it and seen if the scar was there. And then his chance for revenge finally came, if you would be so kind, Detective Sky. I guess I don't have a choice, do I? Wait, his chance for revenge? You're giving a motive for him to have killed her. What are you... The victim planned to get his revenge on Troupe Grammari during Matrus's magic show. Mr. Rios was going to first steal the Grammari notebook from the defendant. He then intended to reveal the secrets behind their magic tricks during the show. That was the victim's plan for revenge, and while he did in fact steal the notebook, the defendant murdered him before he had a chance to reveal the secrets. By the time the accused had discovered the notebook's theft, it was too late. Her only option was to kill Mr. Rios and make it look like an accident.
Objection!
That's nothing but conjecture.
Objection!
The victim's assistant, Bonnie Defame? Defame? Like defame somebody? Bonnie Defame? Gave the police a statement. She testified that just before the start of the show, Mr. Rios said, I am going to reveal all of Troupe Grammari's secrets on stage today. What? Well, that isn't exactly a great starting point for a rebuttal, is it? You're telling me. Allow me to give you one piece of advice, defense. Oh, and what's that? Let it go and move on. Oh my goodness. The first time he said this, I'm like, wait a second. I feel like he says this a lot. Yes. Yes, he does. This is his thing. Excuse me? Helping a sinner will only sully your own soul. One possessed of an unclean soul will burn in the flames, and then be ever burdened with that sin in their next life. But I don't believe in that sort of thing. Besides, I have no intention of giving up. He just sighs. Oh, Holy Mother, grant me the strength to deal with this putrid lawyer. Him and his putrid. All actions have consequences, and yours will surely earn you the honor of being a mere stink bug at best in your next life. A stink bug? Now then, Mr. Stinkbug. I mean, Mr. Justice. Your cross-examination, please. Thanks, Your Honor. It's just the detective. Let's just press everything. Get all the information we can get. Oh, we've got attorney's badges this time.
Hold it!
Revenge after all this time? It's been 13 years already. Why now? I know, right? I thought that was pretty sketchy myself. I mean, wouldn't he have done it a long time ago if he was gonna do it? After all. Detective Sky's self-indulgent outbursts such as those will earn you divine punishment in the form of a salary invaluation. Yep, there it is. Eep! Wait, that's what divine punishment means? Let the detective have her snack. This humble servant of the Holy Mother shall explain. Over a decade ago, Troupe Grammari was at the height of their popularity. But then their reputation declined, and they had all but faded from public memory. Until recently, that is, when Tracy Wright sought to recapture their former glory. The defendant? And at such a young age, too. How impressive. Yes, the accused's skill at magic is undeniably impressive. If she hadn't fallen into the path of sin, she would have had a bright future ahead of her. It's always sad to see such promising young potential go to waste. Now then, Detective Sky, how did Mr. Rios plan to get his revenge? And please put down the statues before you continue with your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Oh, she looks so sad. Like puppy dog eyes going on there.
Hold it!
What evidence do you have that Mr. Rios actually stole the notebook? Well, you see, whenever you're ready, Detective. Fret not, Detective Sky, you have nothing to repent for. You should be proud of the fine forensic discovery that you made. Forensic discovery? And what did she discover specifically? Detective Sky identified a certain set of fingerprints on the notebook. Upon further inspection, she determined that they belonged to Mr. Rios. What? The detective found the fingerprints entirely of her own volition. For that, I must say well done, Detective Sky. She was playing with her kid again. Get a little too addicted to using your precious white powder, did you, Emma? Now, Detective Sky, I would ask you to explain exactly how Mr. Rios intended to use the notebook to exact his revenge. All right. Well, first he stole the notebook.
Hold it!
I'm going to reveal all of Troop Grammarai's secrets on stage today. And that's what Mr. Rios himself said, right? Right, but he didn't exactly specify which Grammarai's secrets he was talking about. But the prosecution thinks he was referring to the secrets behind Troop Grammarai's magic. Yes, that is the prosecution's assertion. When the accused realized that Mr. Rios was to reveal her family's most closely guarded secrets, she naturally panicked. So, basically, Trucy's notebook was hiding in Mr. Rios' things because he had stolen it himself. I see. Truly a motive that only a magician could have. Yes, that's what the prosecution believes anyway.
Hold it!
Do you really believe what you're saying, Detective Sky? Do you really think Miss Wright killed Mr. Rios to stop him from getting his revenge? Of course I don't think that. The Trucy we know... Keep your private consideration separate from your public duty. I warned you about this very thing before the trial began, did I not, Detective Sky? Yes, you did. Please recite my exact words to you. Emma Sky, you are a detective first and foremost, not the accused friend. Remember your duty and fulfill it faithfully. Excellent. So you do remember what I said to you. Your devotion to your work will be rewarded for the Holy Mother's desire. This Holy Mother is no scientific concept I've ever heard of. Those two really don't get along, do they? Well, science and religion go together about as well as oil and water. As I was saying... Sad face.
Hold it!
I'm sorry, but what exactly is the basis for claiming it was murder? Beats me. What? The basis beats me? You'll have to ask Prosecutor Sedmani over there, because he hasn't told me his reasoning either. No, so we still haven't seen the proof of murder. Detective Sky, your feeding of information to the defense has not gone unnoticed by my eyes. The bad karma of acts which go against your duty will impine? Wait. Impinge? I mean, that's yeah, impinge. I don't think I've ever seen that word. Impinge. Yeah, okay. Impinge upon you in the next life. But even before that, it may impinge upon your job in the form of a transfer. Please don't get me kicked out of the forensics unit. Anything but that. Poor Emma. She's really been risking everything for us. Well, Prosecutor Sunmati, what are your grounds for claiming homicide? It was the luminous tape in the understage passage. I realized that it had been moved. Moved so that Mr. Rios would climb up into the downstage coffin by mistake. What? Mr. Rios, who was waiting in the understage passage, was supposed to have used the upstage ladder, shown here on the left. Oh, and go into that. He was to climb into the coffin that had been set up in the backstage area. After being turned into a stuffed dragon during Act 1, Mr. Rios was supposed to come back to life and emerge from that coffin. But the luminous tape had been moved to mark the downstage ladder. So the victim climbed up into the coffin on the stage itself by mistake. The very same coffin the accused thrust her sword into. Okay. And you have proof that it was my client who moved the tape? But of course, Detective Sky. Oh, that's right. I identified the defendant's fingerprints on the luminous tape. What? He actually had proof? Well, defense, are you finally ready to let it go and move on? Oh, shut up, dude. Absolutely not. And detective, please add this information about the prints to the tape to your testimony. The defendant's prints were on the tape. She must have moved it during the show. Oh, don't worry, I'm not presenting anything. I just want to...
Hold it!
What made you think to check the luminous tape for prints? Her playing with her tools again? Well... I thought it was detective's intuition. I dusted not just the tape, but just about everywhere for fingerprints. Oh? I dusted pretty much every single surface in the theater. I mean, it was so nice to be able to dust for prints without everybody getting mad at me. It's great that you're enthusiastic, Emma, but there is such a thing as too enthusiastic. The tape was moved to guide Mr. Rios into the coffin that was downstage. If that's true, it does sound like a murder rather than an accident. It certainly doesn't help that Tracy's prints are on the tape. Ugh. I wish I knew what sound would even be appropriate to make in this situation. Okay, hold on. So, something about the tape being moved. I love how it's like, red badge, you're risking everything by pressing the present button. Oh! Trucy wore gloves during the show. Why would they be... Why would it have her fingerprints? Objection.
Objection!
I'm sorry, Detective Sky, but there's a flaw in your testimony. Oh, really? The prosecution is claiming that Miss Wright moved the understage tape during the show in order to guide the victim into the coffin downstage. But it doesn't make sense that she would leave prints on the tape at that time. It doesn't. Please consider the fingerprinting results of the main coffin, which shows that none of my client's fingerprints was found on it. That's true. We didn't find any of her prints in that coffin. I think you've realized what that flaw in your testimony is. Claiming Ms. Wright left prints on the tape during the show is inconsistent with the facts. Because she was wearing gloves during the show. Oh! She must have left the prints sometime before the show started. In other words, her prints do not prove she moved the tape to mislead the victim. The prosecution's investigation was insufficient. Oh my! But on a personal level, I'm very happy about that. Well, Prosecutor Prasadmati, if the defense's argument is true, then you have no evidence the defendant moved the tape to deceive the victim. I see. Apparently the defense is more intelligent than I had thought. More than a steampunk, at any rate. Oh, gee, thanks. Come on, you can bump me up to at least a stag beetle now, can't you? Aw, he has such a good humor about it. Would that really be any better? Of course, way better. Stag beetles are cool, with those huge mandibles on theirs. If the defense wishes to be promoted to a stag beetle, then answer me this question. Alright, shoot. Even with no evidence, the accused moved the tape to misguide the victim. The victim still climbed the ladder using the tape as guide. And entered the coffin on the stage. The accused then thrust her sword into said coffin with the victim in it. So, what you're saying is the fact remains that the victim was stabbed to death, right? Precisely. However, this does drastically change one aspect of the case. If the accused did not lead the victim into the coffin on purpose, then it means the victim's death could have been accidental. If it was indeed an accident, the defense can argue that it was involuntary manslaughter. I see. If it was involuntary manslaughter, they could plead as extenuating circumstances. So, accidentally put the tape on? Is that what you're saying? And the severity of the crime could be mitigated. Defense, if you believe the accused did not murder the victim, then do you argue that it was an accident? This is it, the all-important question. The defense argues that Mr. Rios' death... The defense maintains that the defendant is entirely innocent. We believe that it wasn't an accident, but murder. And what's more, we believe it was committed by a third party. A third party? As in the true culprit is someone else? Always is. That's how we fly here in Ace Attorney. Except for that one case where... Well, actually, technically speaking, it was still a third party. It was quite a brazen claim to make and unholy without grounds. Your voice is as loud as your suit, and your mind echoes just as loudly in emptiness. His sigh. Surely, you were but a loud red pepper in your previous life. I've been demoted to a vegetable. Wow! I didn't know a person could be reincarnated as a non-sentient plant. In any case, I do have grounds to make this claim. Let us hear the reasoning of yours, then. Alright, but before I give it, there is one question that we need to address. If the victim was killed by some third party, then the sword the defendant thrust into the coffin wasn't the cause of death. If that's the case, then how did we wind up with a dead body inside the coffin? How indeed? A very good question. Now let's hear your opinion, Mr. Justice. Do I have one? Do I have an opinion? It was magic! Well, I'm arguing that he wasn't killed in the coffin because it wasn't her. It's not magic, so I guess he was killed under stage is our argument? What if the victim was killed under the stage before being put into the coffin? In other words, what if the victim was already dead in the coffin from the get-go? Oh, I see. In that case, the defendant's sword wouldn't have been the cause of death. How do you respond, Prosecutor Sadmati? That is the third time. The third time of what? Ouch. Playing horseshoes with my head. What the heck is this? Ow! My head! What do you think you're doing? Even the merciful Holy Mother loses patience if she is struck 3 times. Since you never learned, you needed to be punished. Why don't you let me worry about what I need and don't need? It is what you deserve for interfering with my sacred last rites for the victim. You are a brainless lawyer chasing phantoms. You know nothing. Let this humble servant of the Holy Mother give you an edifying sermon. A sermon? Now? There is a passage in the sacred scriptures of Curianism. A cornered frog will swallow even a snake. Huh? A cornered lawyer has unexpectedly struck back hard against the prosecution. Did I get it right? No, for I am not done with my sermon. And yet the frog still dies, its belly bitten and torn from within. Which is great. And in this case, you are that frog defense. What exactly is your point, anyway? Let us assume for a moment that the victim was killed under the stage. Who, then, had the opportunity to do so during the show? Let's see, the people in the show were... Bonnie DeFame, the victim, Mysterious, and Jersey Wright. Bonnie DeFame was on stage throughout the entire show, as easily confirmed by the footage from the show. Which leaves us with only one suspect, Jersey Wright. Now do you see? The accused killed Mysterious as he waited in standby in the understage passage, and then released his dead body in the coffin above. Making the murder look like an accident. No! O great and merciful Holy Mother, thus another putrid mind has been guided toward enlightenment. I can't believe I swallowed his trick question whole. We're just running circles now.
Objection!
Oh, Athena, what's up? Sorry, but I have to raise an objection here. Athena, what are you... There's something I want to point out, Apollo. And who might you be? You strike me as a mere child in countenance. I may be young, but I have an attorney's badge just the same. And you would contribute to this discussion in that capacity? I most certainly would. You just argued that the defendant killed the victim under the stage. But let me remind you that Miss Wright is a girl. Clearly. Surely you didn't raise an objection simply to point out such an obvious fact. Your Honor, please send for this little child's guardian to come take her out.
Hold it!
But I'm not done with my sermon. You don't need to talk like Prosecutor Sadmati, you know. Listen, if the victim was killed in the understage passage, then his body would then have to be hauled up to the stage, right? However, Miss Wright is a young girl, and a pretty petite one at that. She couldn't possibly have hefted that large body up and put it in the coffin. That's true. It does seem like it would be a rather difficult task for the defendant. I don't think even I could do it. What do you think of that, prosecutor? Who's the child now? In my religion, the priestesses of Curianism are revered as the pillars of our beliefs. So I naturally hold nothing but deep respect for women. I also think highly of the female perspective. Says the man who called this fair maiden a little child. Who's a fair maiden? I agree that your point is worth discussing, defense. How, indeed, was the dead body raised up into the coffin? By the accused, Trucy Wright, that is. You're committed to pointing the finger at her no matter what, huh? Then you explain how that even be possible. But of course. There was a way for even a small creature like her to raise the victim's body up. Huh? Wait, you really can't explain it? I foresaw that our arguments would come to this, so I have prepared a witness. Well, I admire your readiness, prosecutor. It is really not that difficult when one can read the ultimate outcome of any trial. He couldn't have really predicted that things would turn out like this, could he? It's pretty hard to believe. Excuse me, may I step down now? Yes, I suppose you may. One moment, Detective Sky. I'm sorry for, the way I handled all this. You did a fine job, Detective. Your testimony was invaluable. It was? Yes, you served well as a detective and did not allow your personal feelings to interfere. You overcame the conflicted emotions you felt and performed your duty admirably. You will be rewarded for your fine work. Oh. Thank you. I hope we can work together again in the future. Emma seems bewildered by the unexpected praise. I guess he's a pretty nice person, like they say, as long as you're not up against him. Now then, let's call the next witness. Alrighty, Bonnie. Let's get to the bottom of this. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the court. It's very nice to meet all of you. I'm a logomorphing illusionist from the land of fairy tales, Bonnie to fame. Lagomorphing? I can't wait to do some magic tricks for all of you. Please, witness. There is a time and a place for all these things, including magic. Aw, but it would be okay if I do just a little magic, right? Come on, please. Look, everybody's waiting. Now's my chance to shine. That is your second time. My second time doing what? There will be no further warnings. You should know that from our preparatory meeting, correct? Is no one exempt from His Holiness's rosary of suffering? May we have your testimony, witness, once you've recovered from your disappointment? Well, as a huge fan of Trucy's, I don't really want to testify against her. But I guess I have to, don't I? As a huge fan of Trucy's, huh? Yeah, we saw what she really thought of her. Let's see if we can pull out the real Bonnie. Sure, you're a real fan, all right. Of destroying Trucy, you mean. I really can't believe that Trucy killed Mr. Rios. I guess it's possible for a small girl to lift a dead body after she used a stage lift. Is it possible? Could Trucy really have... If Trucy did use a stage lift, I think she must have used stage lift number 2. I was on stage for the entire show, by the way. Yeah, we've covered that. You were on stage the whole time, and you're sure about that? There is no question. The entire audience could testify to that fact. What's more, she is shown clearly in the TV show footage as well. Okay, we know that, according to Trucy, stage lift number 2 was already all the way up. This might come in handy, since she told nobody about it. I might have to press it. I couldn't possibly have killed Mr. Rios. Not little old me. Therefore, the only person who could have killed the victim is understage is the accused. Furthermore, by using a stage lift, even a petite young lady could have raised the body up to the stage without difficulty. You've got to be kidding me. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Yeah, I'm gonna pass all this stuff. Okay, this... Every time it mentions the stage lift, I'm gonna press. What makes you think it would be possible? It's not like you tried it out yourself, right? Well, actually, we did try it out for ourselves. You did? Detective Sky, if you would. Oh! So that's why you made me do that. Detective Sky, what did he have you do? The prosecutor asked me to try raising one of the male police officers with a stage lift. Without a single word of explanation as to why he was making me do it. You're kidding. It's as if he really can foresee all of our counter-arguments. Do not underestimate this humble servant of the Holy Mother. Humble? More like haughty. I guess that means Tracy could have lifted the dead body up. Does that mean... Okay. So this is talking about stage lift number 2, so we're gonna press that.
Hold it!
Stage lift number 2? You mean the stage lift shown here on the left? That's right, with the stage lift. I think even a small girl could easily lift a dead body up to the stage. And so that makes her the murderer, in your opinion. Of course not, I believe in Trucy. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of hers. Oh, brother. How long is she gonna keep this act up? Defense, what position was stage lift number 2 after the show? Let's see, if I recall, it was in the fully raised position. Ah! And the reason why it was fully raised is because the accused used it to lift the victim's body. Wouldn't you agree? No, I would not. Feel free to slowly mull it over while you roast over the flames. You evil red pepper. So now I'm also evil. Yes, you were on stage for the entire show. Sure, let's just press you there, just in case, because that's just a little side comment that isn't necessary. You didn't have a single spare moment to slip down to the understage passage. Huh? Don't tell me you suspect me now. I'm just trying to do my job fully examining your alibi. Depending on how solid it is, I might have to suspect you, yes. You gotta be kidding me! Don't spit on my head and tell me it's raining, lawyer boy. I'm right there in the footage, or are you too much of an idiot to see? Huh? Mr. Fame, are you feeling alright? You seem suddenly different. Oh, oops. Where did that come from, right? Oh my, I seem to have snapped there for a second, didn't I? Tee! He didn't just snap. He wrote character just now. In any case, I was on stage the whole time, performing magic. I mean, you saw me in the footage, right? My dazzling and flawless performance? Flawless? That's odd, considering what you told me. You said that you'd made a mistake with where you positioned Mr. Hat. Mr. Fate, to what is the defense referring? Well, I made a little mistake on stage. I was in charge of operating Mr. Hat, you see. According to the script, I was supposed to place him on the left of the coffin. But I flubbed it up and made him stand to the right of the coffin instead. And because of that mistake, Trucy had to move the stage list around. I feel really bad about messing Trucy up like that with my goof. Tee? Darn it. I don't see any inconsistencies in her testimony. Now do you know who the real killer is? Come on, Gramps. Don't just sit there. Hand down your ruling pronto. Do it quick before you keel over up there. I beg your pardon. Oops. Oh, what's gotten into me? I'm so sorry. And give her another 5 minutes before she tears off that mask. Well, Defense. Are you ready to let it all go now? Oh, shut up. Of course not. I'll never give up. I see. I suppose this too is fate. The sacred scriptures of Curianism describe a variety. Oh gosh. For someone like you, who struggles ceaselessly against this fate. Papal Bullshig. Is that a pun? I have no idea. People boil what? Oh wait, that's Curianese. What sort of terrible places? Papal. A place where the more one struggles, the further one falls into the abyss. At the bottom of the abyss, a ferocious beast awaits. Think of it as something akin to an antlion sandpit trap. Oh, there's one of those in my backyard. Wow. Oh boy. The Curianist punishment is closer to home than I thought. Now then, it would appear that the witness's testimony supports the prosecution's claims that the defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim understage. How are we supposed to get out of this jam? Hey, Apollo. If you can't find any contradictions, maybe it's time to use analytical psychology. You mean... I heard some discord in Bonnie's voice while she was testifying. See? Widget is picking up on the noise in her heart, too. That's right, Athena can hear things others can't with her super sensitive hearing. She can hear the emotions people suppress as a kind of noise or discord in their voices. Alright, Athena. Let's give it a try. You got it! It's therapy time. Your Honor! I'm afraid that our witness, Miss Defame, is suffering under terrible traumatic stress due to this horrible incident. She is? Yes, what with that terrible death on stage, and her beloved Trucy getting arrested, she's under awful strain and shock. In fact, I don't know how much more she can take before she's unfit to testify. What? Oh, I've heard of that. What is it called? Postal stress disorder, right? It's where a person becomes uncontrollably angry, I think. I read about it somewhere. That's going postal, Your Honor. This is PTSD. Oh, my. So that's why the witness acts so hostile at times, as if she were a different person. Yes, and I think her condition is clouding her memory of the incident. Therefore, I suggest a short therapy session for the witness. Huh? Therapy? You don't know the first thing about a magician's mental strength. I've risked my life jumping through rings of fire and having my body sawn in half. Oopsie. Boy, I have to watch my temper, don't I? How many bunnies does she have in there? Miss Sykes, please do whatever you can to help this unfortunate young lady. And what exactly is this child planning to do, Mr. Justice? With her super sensitive hearing, Miss Sykes can hear a witness's true emotions. Simply from tone and inflection, she can tell exactly what a person is feeling. I can even pick out feelings that the witness is trying to suppress or hide. Widget projects the emotions I hear into the mood matrix, where I can analyze them. It sounds like some sort of spurious devilry. If I find it hard to believe, I must ask. How do emotions constitute evidence? While I won't say that emotions can be taken as evidence per se, I have seen how instrumental Ms. Sykes' work has been in cracking a case. Therefore, I wholly support giving it a try. I see. If you are in favor of it, Your Honor, then I have no objections. Even this mere look can see that something disturbs the witness. I'll disturb you. Oh, thank you for understanding, Prosecutor Sadmati. How nice of you. Apollo, you remember how to conduct a therapy session, right? You want me to lead the session? Of course. You're the lead in this case, after all. Fair enough, but do I need a refresher? Nah, I'm good. It's a time that I can skip the tutorial of the therapy session. We're going places here. I think I still remember from last time, so let's get right into it. Okie dokie. You ready, Widget? Let's do this. Guess Trucy is the one who killed Mr. Reus. Even she can move the body with that lift. The evil grin. I was on stage at the time. For that terrible mistake. My stupid flub caused Trucy so much trouble. I feel so bad about it. Oh, do you now? Do you feel so bad about it? I have to say, Mr. Fame, you certainly are a strange one. Even though you said I feel so bad about it, it seems you were feeling happy about it. Ouch. I think I can guess why you're feeling happy. I think you were happy because you messed the defendant up. I'm right, aren't I? You gotta be kidding me. Why would I be happy I messed Trucy up? I'm a big fan of hers. Because we saw you. We saw how you said you hated Trucy Wright. How you were glad she was in trouble. And even how it was what she deserved. Ouch. Looks like I hit the bunny on the head, so to speak. Apollo, the noise level dropped. Now if we could get down to 0%. Oh, now if we could get it down to 0%. Well, Mr. Fame, are you ready to confess how you really feel? What? What do you mean? I'm Bonnie, the sweet, cute little bunny. I'm a rookie magician working hard to be just like my idol Trucy. That's the character I'm supposed to be.
Objection!
Keep that up, Mr. Fame, and you're going to have a mental breakdown. Just let yourself be who you really are. Who I really am? The two sides of you are fighting each other and doing you psychic harm. I can hear them. Two distinct voices battling inside you. Shut your pie hole, you know-nothing know-it-all. I mean, you mustn't say things like that or I might get flustered. Mr. Fame, how long do you insist on maintaining this wolf in sheep's clothing act? We can't end this therapy session until you get real with us. Set the wild beast inside you free. Ouch. Urgh. Don't make me laugh. You don't know a dang thing about me. Well, it's, You want to see who I really am? Fine. Take a good look. Ooh. She's a bat. What in the world? Sheep's clothing, you've got it all wrong. It's a rabbit suit I've got on. And I'm not a wolf. I'm a blood-sucking vampire. A bat with fangs and wings. Eek! I I think we just opened Pandora's box. I'm finally done with the Goody Two-Shoes Cottontail act. I feel free as a bat. Defense. Their therapy session has taken a turn for the worse from the looks of it. There's a perfectly good explanation for this. Isn't there, Miss Sykes? He thinks I created a monster. We blew it. Hey, you! Lobster boy! Who, me? You think I'm glad Trussy's in trouble? That I think she's getting her just desserts? Well, guess what? You're right! Does this mean you admit to wishing the defendant harm? Well, the bat is out of the bag now. That mistake of mine was a work of art. Thanks to my goof, poor little Trucy had to do all that hard physical labor. When you say hard physical labor, what are you referring to? Because of Mr. Hat's new position, Trucy had to move both the huge stage lifts. They must have been so heavy. What a riot! How did you know that? That's strange. Athena, could you please add that last statement to Bonnie's testimony? Alright, I'll update the mood matrix with new info. She didn't tell anyone about it, so how did she know? Hey, Apollo, now there's a new inconsistency in the testimony. Yeah, she finally slipped up. So what do I need to do now? Well, from this point onward, you just do what you do best. Find the contradiction in the testimony and present evidence to refute it. Alright, I've got you now, Bonnie DeFame. Here we go.
Objection!
That doesn't make sense. What? So you think I'm crazy now? No, that's not the point I was trying to make. But I don't hear you denying it. Miss DeFame, allow me to repeat your statement. Thanks to that, she ended up having to move the stage lifts. That's right. And I still say that's just what she deserved. But how did you know? How did you know Miss Wright moved the stage lifts? Huh? According to her own statement, she didn't tell anyone she had done so. What? So how could you possibly have known what she had done? Unless you saw her. You saw Miss Wright moving the lifts in the understage passage, didn't you? Here she is giggling in the corner. Well, look at that. Miss, I was on stage the entire time. You did it, Apollo! Noise levels are at 0%. But Mr. Justice, wouldn't that mean? Yes, Your Honor. Miss DeFame herself was under the stage where the victim was killed. And I hardly need to tell the court what that means. You are one artful liar, Miss DeFame, and one spectacular suspect. Why, you shiny red lobster boy! You're saying I killed Mr. Rios? I'm saying that it's a possibility. What's more, I say you had a solid motive to frame my client for the murder as well. My apologies for raining on the defense's merry revelry. But you seem to have forgotten one very important point. Oh, really? The TV footage. As you can clearly see, Miss DeFame was on the stage the whole time. The entire audience can bear witness to that fact, including you. Oh, yeah. You have just taken a long and senseless journey only to return to the starting line. The witness could not have been in the understage passage, which means the party's over. But Mr. Fame knew something she couldn't have known unless she was under the stage. How do you explain that, Prosecutor Sanmati? It's quite simple. The accused must have told Mr. Fame about it, but then forgot. Ha! Open those useless eyes of yours and take a good look at the footage. If Mr. Fame really was in the understage passage, it wouldn't mean she was on stage and understage at the same time. You mean she was in two places at once. That does seem to be the only explanation that makes any sense. It may be an explanation, but I'm not so sure about the makes sense part. And we'll just have to make it make sense. Your Honor, the witness was both on stage and understage at the same time. That is the defense's assertion. I've heard some illogical things come out of you before, but this is absurd. I'm sure you'll change your tune once you hear my reasoning, Your Honor. My gut tells me you're bluffing, but I'll bite. Very well, Mr. Justice. How do you explain how the witness was in two places at once? She teleported! That is her trick. But how does she teleport? The Bonnie on stage was a fake. There were two Bonnies. That seems like the same answer. Let's specify that there are two of them. There were two Bonnies, Your Honor. If that were the case, it would all make sense, wouldn't it? There were two of them? I suspected you had a few screws loose, but now I see some are missing altogether. Is there a toolkit in this courtroom, Your Honor? I suppose three screws to the head should right in this putrid brain. Very well. Bailiff, could you...
Hold it!
No, wait! Please listen to my argument. Man, between screws in the brain and a tongue blade. Very well. I suppose it wouldn't hurt at least to give it a listen. As was argued earlier, Mr. Fame is shown in the footage the whole time. But at the same time, she was also watching Miss Wright in the understage passage. The only possible explanation is that there are two Bonnies. That almost sounds like it makes sense. What do you think, Prosecutor Sanmati? This humble servant of the Holy Mother is of the opinion that we should lose no time in replacing the defense's many lost screws. But Apollo, it goes against reality itself to say that one person is actually two. But we don't have to be bound by reality. After all, we're talking about magic here. So if Bonnie DeFame in the footage is the real Bonnie, then the Bonnie here in the witness stand, the one who must have been under stage, this Bonnie DeFame, is our second Bonnie. She is? Say we call in the one in front of us, Bonnie number 2. I believe I have just a piece of evidence to prove that a Miss Bonnie number 2 exists. Oh, then please submit your evidence, Mr. Justice. What proves the existence of a Bonnie number 2? I think it's going for this.
Take that!
What's this? During our investigation, we found a set of unknown prints in the coffin on the stage. These prints were most likely left during the course of the show. But they didn't match the prints of any of the people involved in this case. An unknown third party's fingerprints. I was not told of this. Emma must have kept it from him. So the question is, who could these prints possibly belong to? Mr. Fame, or should I say Bonnie number 2. These are your fingerprints, aren't they? Ooh, he's losing his cool. Enough of this foolishness. One person could not possibly be 2. Those fingerprints could have been left not only during the show, but at any time.
Objection!
It's not like you to lose your cool like that, Prosecutor Sanmati. That's what I'm saying, he's losing his cool. Slamming the desk. And I'm sure you know that. Exactly when the fingerprints were made is not the main issue. What do you mean by that, Mr. Justice? The issue is, who do these unknown prints belong to? They're certainly not Bonnie DeFames. But what if they belong to the person standing right in front of us? Oh, you mean Bonnie number 2 is the second Bonnie? Is that what you're implying? It's preposterous to suggest that these prints belong to the witness. I say they must belong to some other unknown individual. Prosecutor Samadi, can you really look at her and still say that? What are you looking at? Take a picture, it'll last longer. How could this be? Didn't predict that, did you? If we check her prints, I'm sure they'll match the unknown set. Well, Bonnie, the prints that don't belong to the real you belong to you, don't they, Bonnie number 2? Witness, is what the defense has said true? Fine, I admit it. The fingerprints are mine. Then does that mean you aren't Bonnie DeFame? What? Ridiculous. Yep, he's losing his cool. It's what you love to see. That's a victory in and of itself. Are there really 2 Bonnies? Nope, there's only one Bonnie. That's because... I'm Betty. Betty DeFame. Right, Batty. Bunny and Bat. What? Ladies and gentlemen of the court, it's time for a wondrous magic show. Gasp in amazement as the lagomorphing illusionist performs her teleportation magic. Watch closely, it's showtime! Who authorized this? What an amazing trick! The witness is suddenly split into 2 people! It's not a trick. No gimmick to it either. We're simply twins. What? Twins? So that's how the teleportation trick works. We just ousted the magicians. Ever since our debut, I've had to hide or pretend I'm Bonnie. All cute and sweet and goody-goody. I can't tell you how stressful it's been. But I don't have to hide anymore. That's right, our days of sneaking around are finally over. Their cover is blown, but they actually seem pretty happy about it. So which one of you is the nice Bonnie DeFame we met in the dressing room? That would be me. And the sharp-tongued Bonnie we saw with Ratings Raja under stage was... Hey! Who are you calling sharp-tongued? It's all starting to make sense now. So, Mr. Justice, the changes the facts of the case rather dramatically, doesn't it? It certainly does. During the show, it was Bonnie who was on stage the whole time. So Bonnie couldn't have committed the crime. But Betty, on the other hand, who was under stage, did have the opportunity. Yep, he is completely thrown off. Well, so we now have 2 suspects. Wait just a minute there, Lobster Boy. I didn't do it. That's right, Betty might have a foul mouth, but she'd never kill anybody. Hey, who's got a foul mouth here? Oh, well, speak up, huh?
Hold it!
Please save your sibling squabbling for later. Betty, you must have been in the understage passage during the show. Otherwise, you wouldn't have known about the stage lifts being moved. So what exactly were you doing down there? Fine, I'll testify. Anything to get you off my back. Prosecutor Samani, Betty DeFame is ready to testify. What do you say? Looks like he's calmed down, at least. Betty, you lied to this humble servant of the Holy Mother. Hey, what else could I do? I couldn't blow our cover and ruin the magic act. Besides, am I gonna go to your Twilight Realm or whatever for being a liar? You will indeed. However, it won't be after your death. He is so mad. I'll give you a taste of your punishment in this mortal coil. An interrogation. Now then, Betty DeFame, please explain to this court what exactly you were doing under the stage. It's true. I had business in the understage passage because of the upcoming trick. It was the fire trick, right? The one Mr. Rios was supposed to do? That's right. It was a very dangerous trick, so I had to make sure we were prepared for it. It was in the script, and I really wanted to see it. But I couldn't because of the accident. Shut up, you're gonna give it away! Anyway, I was real busy. Yeah, way too busy to have the chance to kill Mr. Rios. Yeah, but we know that that fire bucket that was supposed to be prepared for that was dusty. Oh, that was certainly different. How's that for a flawless testimony and alibi? Our magic is real. It's not a trick or a gimmick. Oh my, she's floating. Your Honor. You can't see she's being held up from below. You were supposed to pretend you didn't see that. It's a little something called etiquette. But I can't help it. Whenever I see a contradiction or inconsistency, I just have to point it out. Now then, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Speaking of... Alright, press before presenting. That's what I've learned. Alright, press. And you were taking every necessary precaution, is that right? Of course, every precaution. After all, it's a very dangerous trick that uses real fire. I mean, we had to be ready in case a certain curtain caught on fire or something, right? By the time people realized it wasn't a part of the act, it might be too late, huh? And by people, you mean Athena Sykes, then yes. Oh wow, fire trick. That sounds really impressive. Your beard would go up in smoke, old man. I bet people would mistake you for a cue ball or something without it. A cue ball? Betty, don't be rude to the judge. Betty, you know that fire trick?
Hold it!
I see the fire trick was part of the script. It seems Mr. Rios was scheduled to perform it later in the show. Did you not get to see him practice it beforehand? No, during rehearsal he said he didn't feel well, so he couldn't breathe any fire for me. Wait, let me get this straight. He couldn't breathe fire because he wasn't feeling well? My magical powers appear to be on their wane today. That's what he said. So it was just a part of his usual great mysterious shtick. It's really too bad I didn't get to see the trick because of the incident. Which was completely unexpected, of course. Hey! Yeah, completely unexpected.
Hold it!
So what exactly do you mean by you're gonna give it away? See, Bonnie? You and your big mouth. Now Lobster Boy wants to know what we're talking about. I'm sorry. Yes, well, if you were preparing for the next magic trick, I'm sure you wouldn't have had the time to commit murder. Wow, looks like the old geezer isn't senile just yet, huh? I bet you'll live a good, long life. Oh, I plan to be sitting up here at least another 10 years. 10 more years? I don't know about that. What did we discuss about inner monologues, Athena? Well, more power to you, I guess. In any case, I was so busy I didn't have time to off anybody. Way too busy to have a chance to kill Mr. Rios. Are you just trying to cover for Betty? No, of course not. I believe in my sister. I know she'd never murder anyone. But you think my client would? No! I believe in Trucy, too. I know she'd never murder anyone either. Well, we just ran out of suspects in that case. Yes, but... See, you should have just kept your mouth shut, dummy. You're just making a fool of yourself. Just be nice and quiet like a good little bunny, get it? Alright, I guess I'm no help. Ooh boy. It's impossible to get anything out of Bonnie to Betty right there. So Betty was too busy getting ready for the next trick to have time for murder, huh? There must be some way to prove that that wasn't the case. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out when to present it. I had to make sure we were prepared for it.
Objection!
There it is. Okay, good. I used the right line. Yes! I hate to break this to you, Betty, but there's a big flaw in your testimony. As big as the one that's on that floating trick you did earlier. Oh, harsh words. Well, let me tell you something, forehead boy. No one has ever figured out how we do our teleportation trick. No one except me, you mean? Well, we have even better tricks up our sleeves. Huh? We do? I told you to keep it zipped! Now, don't fight, you two. Mr. Justice, what's this about? A flaw in the testimony? The script has this to say about the fire trick. This will be dangerous. Make sure the fire bucket is ready. However, we found the fire bucket lying empty backstage, except for a layer of dust. Ouch. You didn't even attempt to get ready for the next trick, did you, Betty? You got me! Betty DeFame, you will explain yourself. There's nothing to explain. Come on, Betty, we can't hide it any longer. You might as well tell them. Shut up! You can barely take care of yourself. Don't try and tell me what to do. Well, if neither of you will explain, I guess I'll have to. The reason Betty didn't prepare for the fire trick is because she knew the show wouldn't go on. You didn't prepare for the fire trick because you knew, didn't you? You knew the body would be found and that the show would then be cancelled. Don't be ridiculous, you insignificant speck of a man. I'm gonna yank those lame bangs off yours off. Is that what you want, huh?
Objection!
Whatever, they can grow back. Now stop stalling and tell us the truth already. I can't reveal my secrets, I'm a magician! You have been chasing the shadow of an illusory culprit's defense. And having a chance upon a convenient target, you have let yourself get carried away. Exactly! Where's your proof, huh? And yet, I can see that the witness's taste of false words have also been proven. I advise you to confine your deceitful trickery to your magic act, witness. Deceitful trickery? As your court-appointed therapist, I'd like to add something here, buddy. You finally let yourself be who you really are. But if you continue to hide behind lies, you'll just be imprisoning your heart all over again. But all these questions mean you're trying to put me in prison for real. So I'll be behind bars either way. Does that mean you're admitting your guilt? Of course not. I can't believe you people. Every one of you thinks I did something I didn't do. You... Lobster boy? Cue ball geezer? Head case brat? Cerberus monk? head case brat. Really? Betty, calm down. Come on now. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Look, I'm not the murderer, I tell you. Then how did you know the show would be called off before the fire trick? I told you, we can't reveal our secrets. We're under contract. Contract? What is she talking about? Be that as it may, you're obviously a suspect in this case. I'm beginning to see the karmic threads that make up the intricate tapestry that is this case. Huh? Allow me to summarize your assertions, defense. First, that the victim was killed in the understage passage. And second, that the witness and the accused are the only two who could have done it. Exactly. What's more, Betty knew that the body would be found, and that the magic show would then be called off. Therefore, it is reasonable to conclude that Betty killed the victim understage. But what if Betty knew that the show would be called off for some other reason? Like what? In the course of my investigation, I found it strange that the dragon set piece fell when it did. That, in conjunction with the body tumbling from the coffin in such a dramatic fashion, all seemed too perfect for mere happenstance. It was as though the entire chain of events had been planned out in advance. Ouch. Planned out. After deciding to take this case, I scrupulously studied everything I could about the mass media in this country. I read the newspaper, old news reports, I even browsed tabloid magazines. How very industrious of you, I'm impressed. During this process, I learned about a strange practice favored by the TV world. A practice called the hidden camera prank. Betty and Bonnie, you knew about this, didn't you not? About the dead body appearing, the set piece falling, the show being suspended. You two were informed of this plan. By Take-Two TV in advance, correct? Is that true? Betty, please, let's tell them now. I can't hold it in anymore. Dang it, fine, you got us. Everything the prosecutor says is true. The TV station paid us to cooperate with them on this plan. It was all a prank, a big setup planned out in advance. Mr. Rios showing up dead in the coffin. A set piece falling down. It was all completely scripted. A man is dead. It was all a prank? But a man is actually dead. Bonnie, is this really true? Yes, Mr. Rios was supposed to pretend to be dead. And that's how it was supposed to go. So he was in on it too. That's right. He was supposed to show up dead in the coffin. And then set piece would fall down. Trucy would be shocked and start to panic. That's how the prank script went. What? What the heck kind of prank is that? But we never thought he'd actually wind up dead. Yeah, that was the only thing that was different from the script. Poor Mr. Rios. I'm so completely lost right now. Well, Betty and Bonnie, it certainly sounds like you have some explaining to do. All right. I guess desperate times call for desperate measures. Just this once, we'll share how it was done with you. So listen carefully. You'll never hear this kind of thing anywhere else. Oh, lovely. She has a bat. After our teleportation trick, I went down under stage. When Mr. Rios' body appeared from the coffin on stage, it was time for Betty to do her job in the understage passage. That's right. I used the remote control for the winch connected to the dragon set piece and made it fall down. And just before the dragon fell, I called Trucy to the backstage so she wouldn't get hurt. After that, the plan was for Mr. Rios to come back to life in front of a panicked Trucy. He was supposed to laugh and fly up and away. That was how it was scripted anyway. But for some reason, he really did turn up dead, so he kind of just stayed on the ground. What kind of sick joke is that? It sounds like a terribly mean-spirited prank to me. The poor defendant was trying to do her magic show. I guess so. I'm sorry, Trucy. Whatever. It was all the raiding Raja's idea anyway. Yeah, it sounds like just the kind of thing a guy like him would come up with. This is the prank plan script we got from this ratings Raja. Okay. Dang it, you made us break our contract. Now we won't get paid. Mr. Rios' body will appear in the supposedly empty coffin, which should cause a big ruckus. After capturing a bit of Trucy's reaction on film, Mr. Rios would come back to life, laughing and flying up into the air, causing another round of surprise. But where does this all leave us? Who killed the victim? And when? Yes, exactly. Those are the key questions. Mr. Rios was only pretending to be dead in the coffin as part of the prank. Then, when he was under stage, there would still be life within him. And if that is the case, then Betty, who is also under stage, may be excluded from our list of suspects. Ah! Witness, was the victim alive up until he entered the coffin? Oh, well, now that we've spilled the beans, we might as well show you this video. Oh, boy. I've never voiced a victim before. Oh, no, I have. The Curine one. Yeah. Greetings, viewers. It is I, the great Mr. Rios. We are currently in the middle of Trucy's escape trick. Having snuck through the understage passage undetected, I am now hiding backstage, preparing to play a little prank on Trucy. I'm about to hide in the coffin, which Trucy will stab with her rubber sword. And when the coffin opens, I will be in it, acting as though I've met my maker. Can you imagine the look on Trucy's face then? I can hardly wait. He's about to hide in the coffin. It would seem the threads of karmic destiny have led us to the truth. The victim passed through the understage where Betty DeFame was, and came up into the backstage area. We know this because Mr. Rios appeared to be backstage when he shot the video we saw. It appears that way, yes. And defense, you proposed the following, did you not? What if the victim was killed under the stage before being put in the coffin? But then what about this video? This footage was taken just before Mr. Rios entered the coffin. Oh, so does that mean he wasn't killed under stage? Yes, it is horrible, but true. The tragedy did indeed play out right there on the stage. Went into the coffin where Mr. Rios was hiding. Trucy right thrust her blade. That's a problem. See? Told you so. So are you saying the incident was a tragic accident that happened during a prank? It would be an accident if the accused had no knowledge of the prank beforehand. So let us ask the accused herself, Miss Wright. Did you have prior knowledge of the prank? What? I... Tell him, Trucy, you didn't know anything about it, right? Of course I didn't. I didn't know a single thing about it.
Objection.
Still think you can play innocent, do you? In that case. You leave me the little choice but to present this piece of evidence. It looks like some sort of note. That's... I found this note in the dressing room after the incident. At the time, I did not understand what it meant, but it's all clear to me now. What's this? Let's see, it says, get the video camera after Mr. Rios comes tumbling out. It's a note signed by the accused, instructing Bonnie to collect Mr. Rios' video camera from him, it seems. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. I found it in the dressing room before the show. When I saw it, I realized that Trucy knew about the prank. It does bear her signature. I'll give you that much. So the defendant had prior knowledge of the prank? It would appear so, yes. When she learned about the plan to trick her, she decided to use it to her own advantage. So she thrust the steel sword into the coffin where the victim stood chuckling to himself. Is that not what happened, Miss Wright? Of course not! And I didn't write or sign that note. Let the handwriting matches yours. All of the evidence and testimony points to you being the culprit. But I didn't do it. It wasn't me. Then explain the existence of this note. You can do that, can you not? I can't explain it. I didn't write it, so I don't understand. I didn't kill Mr. Rios. You have to believe me. Don't you dare say what I think you're going to say, buddy. With that sigh and shake of the head. The silence is deafening. Continue struggling against the threads of your own karma if you wish, accused. Even as you are inescapably caught in the web of fate you've spun for yourself. Miss Wright, it is time to resign yourself to your fate. No, I didn't do it. Knew it! That sweet-looking girl, a murderer? She took all of us in with that act of hers. I told you, I knew she was a homicidal little witch from the start. But I didn't do it. I really didn't. Why doesn't anybody believe me? Shut up, you killer! We won't fall for that anymore. Apollo, raise an objection. This is bad. I'm still trying to figure out how his hair goes like that whenever he claps. Because he has a very long braid. Your Honor, I suggest we put an end to this tragedy now. Get your official rule and let us offer the victim's soul the last rites it deserves. Very well. I suppose I have no other choice. Put that gavel down! This court hereby divides the facts. The defense has an objection. Apollo! Even now you would. I won't give up, and I refuse to let either of them down. Mr. Wright, who's counting on me, and Trucy, who's put all her faith in me. Mr. Justice, the fact that you have raised an objection means that you have evidence with which to refute the prosecution's claims, correct? Yes, of course, Your Honor. Do we really have anything, Apollo? Actually, we do. There's one piece of evidence we can present here. I mean, fair. I don't know how concrete it is. It's a little bit circumstantial, but sure. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may proceed. As we saw in the show footage, there's no question that the defendant thrust a sword into the coffin. The defense doesn't dispute this point. But let us not forget that this was a magic show filled with tricks and illusions. We can't take everything we see at face value. So you were saying some sleight of hand was somehow involved? Yes, the defense contends that the sword that the defendant used was not the cause of death. Now, what was it that Trucy told me she did just before she thrust the sword into the coffin? Very well, let's see your evidence then, Mr. Justice. But remember, you interrupted my verdict to make this claim. Ugh! You'll be severely penalized if I find you are bluffing. Okay, so the evidence that I was thinking of is not what he was thinking of. That's fine, Your Honor. This shows that it's possible that the sword Miss Wright used was not the cause of death. Is it her statement, then? Nope, that's not it.
Take that!
What's this, a sword from the show? That's right, Your Honor. This rubber sword was in the sword stand under stage. During the trick, Miss Wright was supposed to swap the real sword for a rubber sword, and she told us on record that she remembers very clearly that she did. I see, so the sword the defendant thrust into the coffin was a rubber sword, was it? But then why was the steel sword found lying on the stage? Somebody must have put the steel sword there by swapping it with a rubber one. Just after the incident occurred, the dragon set piece fell and the theater was evacuated. The real culprit must have used the resulting chaos to swap the rubber sword for the steel one.
Objection!
3D model barely knows what to do about it, too. It just kind of like goes sideways and then back. Do you not know when to give up, Stinkbug? That is not possible. Blood was found in the coffin hole that the sword was thrust into. It must have been left there when the accused withdrew the sword. This is incontrovertible proof that the sword she used was the steel one.
Objection!
But that blood could be the result of someone tampering with the crime scene after the fact. After the set piece fell and the audience was cleared out of the theater. There was plenty of time for somebody to plant that blood there.
Objection!
It's not a very strong argument. If the sword the accused used was a rubber one, then when exactly do you propose the victim was killed, given that Mr. Rios was alive when he entered that coffin?
Objection!
Finding the answer to that question is precisely why we need to continue this trial. Let me express my opinion. By all accounts, it is certainly reasonable to suspect the defendant based on the evidence. But as to the question of whether the sword the defendant used was rubber or steel, I believe further discussion is warranted. I suggest we hear from the defendant herself on this issue. Very well, Your Honor. Yes, I saved it. Somehow. Too close for comfort, but still. Let's adjourn for a brief 15-minute recess. I advise the prosecution and the defense to use this time to prepare. Yeah, we're still going, guys. This isn't gonna end. Like I said, this is only 2 parts. It is long. But we have covered Bonnie's secret, where there are 2 of her, and that's how the teleportation trick works. So now we're going to be hearing from the defense herself. Let's see what information we can get from Trucy, or the defendant herself. Phew, that was hairy. Tell me about it. We barely made it through by the skin of my teeth. can't say I'm crazy about that prosecutor Sadmati either. You know, with the way he says let it go and move on as if it's nothing. Exactly. Let it go and move on, huh? Oh boy. Am I interrupting a secret conclave of villains or something? Oh, it's that guy. At first I thought it was Emma. But then it said villains, and I was like, wait, what? Got your next little scheme in the works already? What do you want? Keep making that face, champ. And everybody's gonna change the channel. Look this way, Trucy. Now smile for the camera. Let's see those pearly whites. Isn't that what the Grammar Creed tells you to do? You jerk. How's it feel, Trucy? Everybody online can't stop talking about you. They're calling you a real witch out there. Could this be the end of True Grammar? Go away, you creep! Oh, what's this? Something just charged into frame. Looks like a yellow gorilla or something. Could it be Trucy's pet? Filming is prohibited inside the courthouse. Do you want me to get the bailiff? Huh? Filming? What are you talking about? I don't even have a camera on me. Huh? What happened to the camera? Just disappeared right before our very eyes. I'll be enjoying the rest of the Trucy show from the gallery. I put in a call for Trucy's fans to come and support her earlier, by the way. But I'll get great footage out of them. This is gonna be good. Hang loose, baby. Creep. He called in some of Trucy's fans. For what purpose? Apollo? One thing Mr. Rayton just said. That was some high-level sleight of hand. Huh? Why would he know how to do something like that? I don't know, but he definitely has some serious magic skills. No way. But I thought he said magicians were all a bunch of good-for-nothings. Mr. Lawyer? Is that Bonnie? It is. Oh, hello, Bonnie. Can I help you with something? Well, there's something that's been bothering me. Really? What is it? Well, you see... Hey, dummy, what are you whispering to Lobster Boy about? Betty? Who the heck do you think you are? Are you crazy? You want a piece of this? You know you have to talk to me first before you do or say anything, you harebrain. But I... Shut your mouth, you dumb bunny! Come with me now! No. Wonder what was bothering her. There's no way we're finding that out with Betty constantly hovering over her like that. Court's about to reconvene. Will you be alright testifying? Yes, it's just... I wonder what Mr. Rayton has up his sleeve. I doubt he's bringing in actual fans. Yeah, probably not. I wonder what he has up his sleeve, too. Better not be trying to get under Trucy's skin right now, of all times. You're Trucy right, and you'll be fine! Oh! There goes Apollo with his best trick. That's right, whenever I'm feeling down, I always tell myself I'm fine. Alright, I'll give it a try. I'm Trucy Wright, and I'm fine. Thanks, Polly. I think I can do this now. That a girl. Good luck up there on the stand. You'll do great. Thanks. I'll be fine. I can do this. Alright, Justice. You can do this too. Time to focus on the rest of the trial. All rise. Oh, it didn't do the fancy all rise thing. Court is now back in session. Defendant, please step up to the witness stand. Trucy Wright, magician. Here comes the liar, the deceitful witch. Throw the murderer in jail! The last member of that criminal troupe. Boo! We don't want to see you on any stage! Order! The gallery will be quiet, or I will have you all thrown out on the spot. What's with all the hecklers? I bet they're the fans Mr. Rayton's invited. What a grade A jerk. Well, he's not going to psych us out. Now then, Miss Wright. This court would like to know if you switched from the steel sword to a rubber one on stage. So please testify about this issue. She's just gonna try and trick us again with her magic. Hurry up and convict her already. Give her the death penalty. Silence, all of you. I won't tell you again. Miss Wright, do you feel able to testify? Yes, I'm fine, Your Honor. Tracy, I knew I shouldn't have let her go through with this. I'd like to make a small request. How about instead of testifying with words, I show you exactly what happened. Would that be alright, Your Honor? You can witness my stupendous sword-switching magic and judge for yourselves. In spite of everything, she's still smiling. Our Trucy is amazing, isn't she? She sure is. She's doing just fine up there. A true entertainer always keeps a smile on their face. She's faithfully following the troop grammar I create even now. She really is something else. It's showtime for magical girl Trucy Wright. Watch carefully now, everybody. Sorry about the cutoff again, guys. This happened again. My computer shut off again, and I wasn't paying attention. So we're back. Let's do this. The stupendous sword switch. Is she gonna like do motions? I guess it's to make up for the fact that we can't do the dance in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, please focus your attention on this sword. Allow me to demonstrate just how sharp the blade truly is. See that? No tricks or gimmicks. A very sharp sword indeed. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, watch as I take this sword and... Presto Sordo! There, I've switched it. And now... Huh? As you can see, the blade is not steel, but rubber. Bravo, Miss Wright! Wow, she switched them in a flash. I couldn't see her do it at all. She's completely turned the room around. The hecklers are being drowned out by all the cheering. Where did the steel sword vanish off to, Miss Wright? In order to deepen our understanding of the case, please tell us if you would. I'm not asking out of mere curiosity, just so you know. I usually hide the steel sword backstage when I switch them during the show. So when you thrust a rubber sword into the coffin, the steel sword wasn't even on stage, but behind the curtain? Exactly. So you see, there is a trick and a gimmick to it after all. And as for where the steel sword went when I performed the trick just now, it's a secret. Wouldn't want to spoil the magic for you now, would I? Oh. That's our Trucy. Yeah, still. Miss Wright, that part where you spun around, that's an actual part of the sword-switching trick you do for the show, right? Right. The other parts, like the apple, were just to help with my explanation here in court. It's funny. I think I found an inconsistency in her testimony. It looks like I'm not the only one. I don't know what it's doing there. But now that I've found it, I have to get to the bottom of it. Yeah, she didn't spin around during the show, did she? Now then, Mr. Justice, you may go ahead and question the witness. But try not to ask dumb questions and spoil this wondrous magic. I thought this was supposed to be my cross-examination. I wish I could fast forward. Mr. Hat spun around. Does that help? Press first. Focus your attention on the sword. Don't need any of this.
Hold it!
So you switched the swords when you spun around just now. That's right. That's the same way I did the trick in the actual magic show, too. But I'm also doing a lot of extra things that I don't do during the show right now. The key point is sword switching. If only we could prove she did it during the actual show, too. Right, prove that she switched them during the show. What's the matter, Apollo? You look troubled. Oh, it's nothing. Uh-oh, this is quite the pickle. How should I go about handling this? With, presenting evidence, unfortunately? Oh, sorry. Ms. Roy, please continue with the trick. So you all just witnessed me switching the swords. I think I have to present it here. Present the video here. It makes me nervous that that glows red.
Objection!
Yep. Miss Wright, there's something I'd like to confirm with you. What is it, Apollo? There seems to be a discrepancy between the way you performed the trick for us just now and the way it appeared in the show footage. What? But that can't be. I performed it exactly the same way both times. Then what's going on here? Miss Wright, I have the show footage right here. And the part where you twirl your cape around is missing from it. Oh, we're gonna see it again, aren't we? What? But I did it! So... it really is the exact moment you switched the swords? Yes, that's right. Oh, this is not good. I knew it. Well, I certainly never expected the defense to expose the accused lie for me. Mr. Justice, does this mean that you are arguing that the defendant did not swap the swords during the actual magic show? No, Your Honor, that wasn't my intention. I mean, I did swap them, I know I did. I'm absolutely sure of it.
Objection!
Human memory is unreliable at best, but in this case, I'm afraid that it is the witness herself who cannot be trusted. We can see footage for ourselves. The claims of this witness are false. But... now that it has been proven that the accused did not swap swords, it means that the use of the steel sword to pierce the coffin was wholly intentional. Wait, what if she switched it whenever the camera was off of her? And by the way, was it not you, Mr. Justice, who argued that Mr. Rios' death was not an accident but murder? I assume you have no objections to that still. It was, after all, your own assertion. The defense,
Objection!
The defense has an objection to you, Mr. Apollo Justice. I demand you withdraw the discrepancy you pointed out now. But there is a discrepancy, and it must mean something, I'm sure of it. Would the defense team kindly save their spat until after court is adjourned? Now, after all of this debate, it seems we've come back around to the original argument. The defendant knew about the prank plan that would place the victim inside the coffin. What's more, the defendant did not perform the sword-switching trick on stage. Though, through her actions, I am afraid I have come to see the true intentions of the accused, her murderous intentions. It's such a shame. But I did switch the swords, I swear! You're knee-deep in it now, Justice. Excuse me. Let's see, you are... which one again? Benny? No, that's not right. Body? It's Bonnie. You were mixing the two names together, Your Honor.
Oh, pardon me. And do you have something you wish to say, Bonnie?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to testify.
Are we going to hear it after all? Whatever she was going to say before? About what?
The more I think about it, the less possible it seems. I don't believe Trucy killed Mr. Rios. Bonnie?
Hey, what's the big idea?
Such an incredibly gifted and talented magician would never commit murder. I refuse to believe it.
What are you talking about, you harebrained hare? You keep your traps shut. I got a bag of baby carrots for you, so chew on those and pipe down.
No, I won't be quiet.
What's the matter with you? Didn't you hear me?
Trucy said something to me once.
Huh?
She said, no matter how scared you get, no matter how mean people are to you, you can't give in or give up. That's what being a professional magician's all about. Isn't that right, Trucy? That's right, Bonnie. I've always been afraid to stand up to Betty, afraid to defy her, so I did what she said. But when I saw Trucy today, she gave me strength. Seeing her courage, the way she kept smiling despite everything, she's just incredible. So I'm not going to run away. I'm scared, but for once, I'm going to be brave. What have you done to my sister, Trucy Wright? You practically brainwashed her. It's the power of Trucy's conviction. That's what it is. It touched Bonnie's heart.
Yeah, Trucy really is one magical girl. Bonnie, is the topic of your testimony related to that thing that was bothering you? The thing you tried to tell us about in the lobby during the recess?
Yes. Ever since I saw the show footage, something's been nagging at me. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but something is off. I feel like something about it is different from what I saw on the stage.
What do you mean by that, Bonnie?
I wonder if it was shown on TV is really the same as what happened on stage.
Objection!
Of course, it is. The show has only been performed once, after all. It can't show anything other than what happened on the stage yesterday.
Objection!
But Bonnie's testimony deserves our attention. We have to examine the show footage. But what can we check it against? Do you have some other footage of the show?
Well, I have some show footage.
You do?
One of the TV station's cameramen said he was a fan of mine. He kept his camera on me throughout the entire show. And then afterwards, he gave me the footage he shot as a present.
He did?
To tell you the truth, I thought it was kind of creepy, so I was going to get rid of it.
Hold it!
Please submit that footage to the court. Okay, different angle. That's interesting. Now then, let's take a look at this new footage.
Okay. Was the puff of smoke late?
Oh! What? 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 Wow, okay then. He really did keep his camera on Bonnie the whole time, didn't he? I think this cameraman needs to keep his personal feelings out of his work. Well, defense, do you still believe this new show footage is worth inspecting? Yes, there were so many different things. Of course I do. Okay, so how are we going to go about this? Let's try comparing the two. We just might find an inconsistency between them. An inconsistency, huh? Yes, the two pieces of footage are the same scene, so they should match up. But Bonnie felt there was something off by the original footage. If we can pick up what's different between the two, we'll know what Bonnie found strange. Exactly. Plus, we may figure out why the original doesn't show the sword switching trick. Your Honor, the defense would like to compare these two pieces of show footage. Very well, I will allow it. What a waste of time. Apollo, do you know how to compare the two pieces of footage? No, I've never done it before. I'll give you a little lesson then. Use the buttons on the bottom screen to operate the playback. If you want to speed through, touch the fast forward button. If you want to go back, touch the rewind button. I know what was different. It was the cards. Also, I feel like the smoke screen was later. If you fast forward or rewind when the playback is paused, you can do a slow frame-by-frame playback. Switch camera at the top left. Now you can find difference between the two pieces of footage. Put the cursor over what's different. And present. Thanks, Athena. You really know your stuff. Not really. I just gave her some gusto and then went with my gut on most of it. What? I sure hope she guessed right. Anyway, let's give it a try. Okay. I just want to see this. Oh, right. The poof does happen a little bit after. Okay, cool. Okay, it's here. Switch. What? No way. What happened? Where are the cards that came flying? Is that later? Oh, there it is.
Take that!
I was nervous for a second that they had the badges still there. This is it right here. Take a good look at this scene and compare it to the video shot from the front. Oh, the playing cards don't appear in the video shot from the front. Hey, you're right. What's going on here? Mr. Wright, what can you tell us about these playing cards? Oh, those? They're the cards I throw when I do the sword switching trick. What? Mr. Justice, does this mean? Yes, it means that the sword switching trick was cut from the TV show footage. So the footage was edited. Yes, with malicious intent. That is absurd. Is it, though? Knowing who's behind that footage? Or at least the company behind that footage? Well, we must get to the bottom of this squared away. And bailiff, the TV station might still have the unedited footage. Go see what you can find out. Yes, Your Honor. Well, well, well. Look who it is. Our favorite con man. It's you. Now, hold up, Your Honor. This is all just a big misunderstanding. Believe you me. Give a guy a chance to defend himself before you start pointing fingers. And who might you be? Right. Sorry about that. I got ahead of myself there. Here's my business card. Charmed to make your acquaintance, Your Honor. Oh, well, how very polite of you. It's lovely to meet you too, Prosecutor Sudmati. Please take my card. A business card. Oh, yes. I read about this custom among businessmen in this country. I've even familiarized myself with the various replies. How do you do, good sir? Or, what's crack-a-lackin', homie, for example. Oh, you're from Take-Two TV, are you, witness? Come to think of it, I believe I've seen you on television before. Yes, Roger Ratings, otherwise known as the Ratings Raja. He's a TV producer and appears in many of his own shows as of late. He is best known for his catchphrase, "Hang loose, baby." Oh my, so you're the Ratings Raja.
Hang loose, judgy baby. Nice courtroom you got there. I never thought I'd get to meet you in person. But Prosecutor Sanmati, how do you know so much about him? In preparation for the case, I watched all of his shows. I found the ratings Raja Goes to Burger Bar of particular interest. It inspired me to visit that restaurant straight away and learn more about the local cuisine. Oh, what? You went to Burger Barn? Who would have thought? You must have really wanted to try it, huh, buddy? Because that line, phew! Compared to my aesthetic training, an hour's wait is nothing. I recommend the Southwestern Burger with jalapeno jack cheese, by the way. I'm having a really hard time picturing him in line for burgers. Prosecutor Sudmati's unexpected enthusiasm for food aside, Mr. Ratings, what is this misunderstanding you mentioned? Well, for starters, it's true that the footage was edited. You'll get your hands on this anyway, so might as well show you the unedited footage. It's a pretty long video, so I'll just show you the part with the playing cards. You can see the cards when Trucy spins around, so keep your eyes peeled. Okay. Did you see the part that was cut where Trucy switched the swords? She spins around and the playing cards go flying. Everything's like it's supposed to be. Then it seems the defendant really did swap swords during the trick. Which means the sword Miss Wright thrust into the coffin was the rubber one. In other words, Miss Wright couldn't have killed Mr. Rios. Yeah, see, that's the first misunderstanding right there. What do you mean? Well, Trucy definitely did swap swords, as you said. As you saw, sorry. So yeah, maybe she didn't kill Mr. Rios when she stabbed the coffin. But that just means she was killed after he showed up pretending to be a corpse. Okay. So you're saying that up until that point, everything was going according to the script. If that's true, then when and how exactly do you think he was killed? It was after the dragon set piece came crashing down. I say Trucy murdered Mr. Rios when she was hidden from view behind the set piece. But she ran away. We can see that in the footage. She ran off stage. She could have easily done it behind that huge dragon, and nobody would be the wiser. I see. Indeed, there is a ring of truth to your assertion. You bet. Plus, there's a suspicious-looking shadow in the footage, too. It's toward the end of the footage, just before the dragon hits the stage. It might be easier to just see it for yourselves. It's only for a split second, so it's hard to catch, but look here. The suspicious shadow must be Trucy. She's using the steel sword she hid behind the curtain during the trick to kill the victim. Really? That's what you're going for? Clearly the shadow is moving upward. Like Mr. Hat did. Now that you mention it, I suppose it does look that way.
Objection!
This witness is just trying to ram his theory down our throats, Your Honor. And that's not all. Aren't we forgetting that the witness willfully edited the sword switch out of the footage? You see? There's your second misunderstanding right there. Your Honor, would you mind if I testified about it? I've seen people testify on TV, and I've always wanted to give it a shot. That would be fine with me, Prosecutor Sudmati. This is quite unexpected. It threatens to disrupt the karmic course of this case. Hey, lighten up, pretty boy.
You're gonna like what I've got to say, promise. Very well. However, if you do anything to impede the last rites for the victim, I will have you removed. All right. The prosecutor said Mahdi's permission. Please give us your testimony, Mr. Ratens. Roger Ratens, the Ratens Raja. Now, Kaiser of the courtroom. I'm taking over the floor, so listen up, loyal viewers. Okay. Footage is meant to be edited, I tell you. Scenes are spliced together, and long or boring scenes are cut out. All the stations edit footage this way. It wasn't like it was done maliciously or something. It was just a coincidence that particular scene was cut. It wasn't intentional. Or what, you got some proof that I had an ulterior motive for editing that footage? I see. And so you're saying it was a coincidence that the sword swapping scene was cut. That's right. Glad you got the picture.
Objection!
Coincidence? That's just a little too convenient, if you ask me. Ooh, an objection. How cool. I'm sure it packs a lot more punch when you hear it live. Do that again. I want to get another shot from a different angle. My objection is not for your entertainment. And cut. There, I got some good stuff there. Mr. Ratens, filming is prohibited inside the courthouse. Whoops, my bad, Judge. And if the defense has an issue, it can point it out during its cross-examination. Alrighty, let's do this. Yeah, I'm not gonna... I wouldn't call it boring, this is a magic show. Are you saying you thought there were boring scenes in Miss Wright's magic show? You gotta ask, that script and presentation deserve a place on the cutting room floor. Broadcasting that mess as is would have been a complete disaster. That's why I had to edit the footage. It's just what TV man does. What didn't you like about the show exactly? The whole thing. It was a major snooze fest. Maybe common folk like you don't get it. But a show's only as good as how loud, flashy, and trashy it is. It was plenty loud and flashy on its own. All you did was add the trash. I suppose each industry has its own way of doing things, just as we in the legal profession focus exclusively on evidence and testimony. Exactly! Whether it's showbiz or the legal biz, we do what we gotta do to get the job done. Anyway, editing footage is just a matter of course in the TV industry.
Hold it!
Of all the scenes you could have cut, why the sword switching trick? That seems like too much of a coincidence to me. Oh, so now you're gonna tell me how I'm supposed to edit my programs, big shot. It's hard being the boss kid. You gotta make the tough choices, like which content gets cut. Then let me ask you this. Why exactly did you make such a tough choice in this case? You wouldn't understand, champ. It's all about the artistic vision. I tell you, people tell you how to do your job when they don't know the first thing about it. I may not know TV, but I know evidence law, and boy do I have some for you, champ. I might not be able to show that your selective editing was intentional. However, I know you bear the defendant ill will, and this is the evidence that proves it. The contract?
Take that!
Not the contract. My bad. Is it the clipboard then? So I was thinking the clipboard, but I didn't think we had any proof. Oh, but then we also have the prank. What could that possibly prove? Yeah, okay, whatever.
having evil intentions are two entirely different things. Look at me, for example. I'm not evil, but I am a bit of a bad boy. My bad. Exactly. Didn't mean anything by it. It was just a coincidence. I ended up that routine. Okay. I'm on... Okay.
Hold it!
Is it the prank? Oh, hold on. Let me look. Let me look here. This is a terrible prank. Pranks are stupid anyway. But doesn't mean ill will. I think it's the clipboard. But again, it's not proven. It's not proven. Whereas this is absolutely, definitely staged by Roger Radens. Oh, I don't know.
Take that!
Okay. Okay. Alright. It allowed me to show the clipboard. Huh? What's that you got there? This is the contract you had Miss Wright sign just before the magic show. I don't know why it didn't work as evidence, but apparently it needed specifically to talk about the clipboard. This contract between the first party, Take-Two TV, and the second party, Miss Wright, reads: if, through the fault of the second party, the show must be cancelled, in part or in full, the second party will pay $3 million as compensation to the first party. $3 million? That's a completely unreasonable sum. I couldn't agree more. And of course Miss Wright doesn't have that kind of money. Nevertheless, Roger Radens had her sign this unreasonable contract anyway. Or, more accurately, he conned her into signing it. Conned her? How did he do that? There's a trick to the clipboard that was used by Miss Wright to sign her contract. It houses carbon paper that can secretly copy her signature onto other documents. Oh, come on now. That's quite a nasty accusation you're slinging my way. For starters, you don't have any proof I had anything to do with that carbon paper stuff. Just because Trucy and her agency can't pay up, that doesn't mean I conned her. But $3 million. That's totally out of reach for an average person. In any case, it's important new information. Please add it to your testimony, Mr. Ratens. No, and that's the problem. That's why I didn't want to show it before.
Hold it!
This clipboard of yours, though. This clipboard is yours, though, isn't it? Well, it belongs to the TV station anyway, that much I know. Maybe it was an old prop from one of our TV shows that got used by mistake. Or maybe you used it on purpose. To con Miss Wright.
Objection!
Mr. Ratens has already stated that he did not. Mr. Justice, please do not use this trial to try to get out of paying your agency's debt. That's not what I'm doing. Proof Mr. Ratens is connected to the carbon paper, huh? If Trucy's signature was copied onto the fake contract, then there must be an original contract that Trucy actually did sign. True, but I bet Mr. Ratens is too savvy to leave something like that behind as evidence. What if her signature was copied into more than just the fake contract? Like a third document with Trucy's signature on it? Have we seen anything like that, though? Yes. Yes, we have. Hey, what are you guys whispering about? Let me continue my testimony. I don't know whether it's proof linking you to the tricked out clipboard, but it might be proof linking the fact that it is what happened with her signature.
Objection!
You must be quite the con man if you can fool a magician with a simple trick. But if you think you can con a lawyer, you're very much mistaken. Hey kid, would it kill you to enunciate in front of the camera? You know, like a newscaster. I'd like you to take a look at Miss Wright's signature here on this note. Now let's compare that signature to the one here on the contract. Well, would you look at that? They're exactly the same. That's right, Your Honor. Not just similar, but exactly the same. Nobody can sign their name in exactly the same way twice, unless it's a copy. These signatures are proof positive that you conned Miss Wright. And they definitely prove your malicious intent. Say, not bad, lawyer guy. Didn't know you had it in you. This is really getting interesting now. It'll get great ratings for sure. Put the video camera away. Don't try to dodge the issue, Mr. Radens. The fact is that you bear ill will against my client. So the show footage was definitely edited with malicious intentions, isn't that right?
Objection.
What a forced argument, defense. All you have really proven is not his ill will toward Miss Wright, but his pecuniary greed. That's a new one, too. That's right, just wanted money, baby! Fat stacks of cheddar, that's all. After all, I'd never even crossed paths with Trucy before the magic show, so I'd have absolutely no reason to bear her any ill will, right? You didn't bear her any ill will, huh? Fat chance. This guy definitely has some major hate for Trucy. I can't prove it with anything, but the things he said all point to that fact. There must be something between the two of them that gave birth to this grudge. Some sort of connection that not even Trucy is aware of. Your Honor, I'd like to argue that Roger Ratens and Trucy Wright must have crossed paths before. There must be some hidden connection between them. Hidden? Connection? What's it now? Just what are you getting at, Mr. Justice? It is futile to even ask, Your Honor. Surely it is just another one of the defense's feckless claims.
Objection!
You don't seem to have a very high opinion of me, but once you hear my arguments, you'll wish you'd taken me a whole lot more seriously. Well, I really... Very well, then. Do proceed. Did you figure something out, Apollo? Nope, not a thing. What?! That was just some good old-fashioned bluffing, courtesy of Mr. Wright's fine training. I hope you know what you're doing. If you're going to make such a bold claim, Mr. Justice, I hope you're ready to elaborate. What is this hidden connection between the defendant and Roger Ratens? Well, we know Ratens is some kind of magician. That sleight of hand trick Mr. Ratens did during the recess earlier. Yep. Trucy said it was all impressive and stuff. What if Mr. Ratens is a magician too? What if? I believe it's up to the defense to fill in the blanks, not me. Well, if he is, he may have had some contract with Miss Wright somewhere along the way.
Objection!
Contact, sorry. Your argument is hardly worth responding to. But by all means, please do continue. As a passage of the sacred scriptures of Curianism states, he who gives a sermon to a monkey is himself a monkey. Yeah, doesn't matter what you say to a dimwit, he isn't gonna get it anyway. But we saw Mr. Ratens perform a magic trick. He made his video camera disappear in the blink of an eye. Well, I think it would be pretty funny if I were a magician. You must have been seeing things. Want me to introduce you to a good eye doctor? If a connection as tenuous as that is all it takes, then every magician in the country can potentially bear ill will toward the accused. I guess you're right. You're not the sharpest... Oh, I don't know why I'm using Sadmati's voice for this. You're not the sharpest knife in the drawer, are you, short stuff? You would do well to cleanse that putrid mind of yours from the holy waters of Mount Pony. 3 days under a frigid waterfall, and even you should rise to the level of a monkey. Well, at least we're not a stink bug anymore. Numbskull for a numbskull. Well, this numbskull has thick skin, so there. I think I get what they're driving at. Even if he is a magician, it's not exactly a reason to bear a grudge against Trucy, is it? Hold on. I can think of one person. One magician who has a reason to bear a grudge against Trucy. Or rather, one magician who has a reason to bear a grudge against Troop Grammari. Oh? No way! Is something wrong, Mr. Justice? Your Honor, the defense wishes to submit evidence at this time. I see. And what sort of evidence do you have for us? Evidence that points to the real killer, the one who had motive to commit this crime. What? The sigh. And what have you come up with this time, defense? Trucy Wright is the sole heir to Troop Grammari and its name. This puts her square in the crosshairs of one particular magician. And this piece of evidence points to that one person with a grudge against Miss Wright. Oh, wait, no, it was over there.
Take that!
And who exactly are you naming, Mr. Justice? 13 years ago, the great Mysterious belonged to Troop Grammari. But then the troop ousted him, and Mysterious vowed to get revenge on them someday. And what better way to accomplish that than through the ruination of their sole heir? But Mysterious is the victim, Mr. Justice. You named a dead man as your suspect. But is he really dead? What do you mean? Is he really dead? If the fact that Mysterious is the victim is what's throwing you off, and then how about we consider this possibility? What if the man who died on that stage yesterday wasn't Mysterious? What? You mean the victim was an imposter? Not Mysterious. Then what about the real Mysterious? It would mean that the real Mysterious is still alive. He was mad again. That's absurd. Mr. Justice, who is the real Mysterious, if not the victim of this case? It's all coming together now. I finally see the gimmick, the trick to this entire case. This should explain everything, Your Honor. The real killer, the one who hated Troop Grammari and wanted to sully its name? The magician lurking in the shadows, who set up a fake Mysterious in his stead? The real Mysterious?
Take that!
But that's... Yes. Yes, it is. Roger Raytons is the real Mysterious. What? Huh? Him? Him?
Objection!
That's new. Oh, hollow red pepper. Your impotent seeds sprout not but meaningless empty words. You can't possibly have proof to support such an outlandish theory. It's not a bad idea for a soap opera. But not even die-hard fans of the genre would stick around past the pilot. You want proof? I've got proof. I can prove it. By proving that the Mysterious in yesterday's magic show was a fake. And to do that...
I just need you to look at this spot on this poster. Do you see it? Do you see the problem?
Take that!
No scar. This is the injury Mr. Rios sustained while practicing a magic trick 13 years ago. However, the video the victim shot of himself shows no trace of that injury. Oh my, you're absolutely right. Now, Mr. Ratens, what do you suppose we'd find if we took a look at your right forearm? Is there, by chance, a nasty 13-year-old scar under that sleeve of yours? Well, Mr. Ratens, why don't you roll up your sleeve and let the court have a look? Or are you hiding something else up there? Come on now, I've nothing up my sleeve. I don't need to hide anything up there because I require no tricks or gimmicks. For you see, my magic is the real deal. Is this what you were hoping to see? Oh, there it is! The scar! Just as I thought. That's right, I am the forgotten magician, abandoned to the dark understage of history. The great Mysterious. This is totally absurd. Again, didn't read this one coming, did you? Oh, how ironic, wouldn't you say, that this odious mark, carved into me by Troop Grammari, would bring me back to the limelight once more. Strange are the karmic threads before me. If the witness is the real Mysterious, then who is the victim who perished in the magic show? He was but a fan. I met him on one of my programs several years ago. He said he had become a magician out of admiration for the great Mysterious. In confidence, I told him my true identity and let him take on my mantle. And when did this man take over for you? About 2 years ago. I taught him my tricks and even acted as his producer. And so a mere amateur became a popular magician overnight, courtesy of my magic and the stage we call television. Hope you enjoyed the show. You really had us all fooled. Mr. Ratens, or should I say, Mr. Rios. In your hatred of Troop Grammari, you killed the victim, Mr. Mystery. And then set up Miss Right to take the fall, didn't you? You did it all just to tarnish the Grammari name. I have no idea what you're talking about, lad. I set up the prank, that much is true, but it was simply a harmless joke on Trucy, I assure you. Yet she learned of the plan and made use of it to commit murder. That is how strongly the criminal element runs in the blood of those Grammaris.
Objection!
But if it was a secret prank plan that very few people knew about, couldn't you have been the one to use it for murder instead? Gah! Yikes! Eek! His head! That was terrifying, oh my gosh. Heh, just kidding. What the heck was that? Heed my words, lawyer lad, for I fear your grasp on reality is slipping. I do believe I told you that my magic is real. It employs neither tricks nor gimmicks. Enough with the ambiguity. Well, why don't you just make your point already? My alibi is as pristine as ever, wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Sadmati? Yes, I suppose that is correct. The witness does have a solid alibi. What? Recall defense that the time of the magic show, Mr. Ratens was at Take 2 TV. A fact that many people can easily attest to. Yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that. So what do you think, Your Honor? Would you like me to testify on the matter? Yes, I think you'd better. At least tell the court more about your alibi. Very well, then. On with the show! Are you watching Magnifi Grammari?
The time has finally come for my magic to snuff out your precious pedigree. The Grammar line will be no more. Pointing tricks and fire. I was at the TV station at the time of the Penrose performance. I was busy working on another TV program. I could spare no time for the magic show. I do ask my staff if you doubt my claim. And there it is, a simple and perfect alibi. No tricks, no gimmicks, just the truth. Do you understand now, perhaps? I did not grace the theater with my presence until after the incident. So how could I have committed the murder? My staff did say he was there at the station. So it sure does sound like a rock-solid alibi. But that can't be right. If Mr. Ratens is the killer, he'd have to have been at the theater. There's gotta be a hole somewhere in his story. I assure you there are no holes in Mr. Rios' stage. No tricks, no gimmicks. True magic doesn't need trapdoors to escape through. Do enjoy my show to the fullest. And my real alibi. Alrighty, press everything time.
Hold it!
But you did come to the theater eventually, isn't that right? Indeed. Anxious to see how the show was progressing, I made my way to the theater. Let's see. My journey took about 10 minutes by car. Have you actually been at the theater during those 10 minutes, killing the victim? Allow me a stab at reading your mind. Aha! Could I have been at the theater during those 10 minutes, killing the victim? How in the... But no, I took a taxi. The driver can attest to that. Feel free to call the taxi company if my word does not satisfy you. The driver's a big fan of the ratings, Raj. I even gave him my card. You gave the driver his card? That was very clever of him. You might as well give it up, lad. Questioning real magic is a fool's errand. Besides, you know very well what I was doing at the time of the incident.
Hold it!
What was this other TV show you were working on? My own special project, you see. One moment, perhaps this is more appropriate. It's a Ratings Raja special production, yeah? Hang loose, baby! It's called Desperation Regeneration. I switched personas just to say that. What's the show about? Washed-up has-been singers and comedians get together and play musical chairs. The winner of the game is given a second chance at their career. A priceless prize for chumps who washed up too early in life. Sounds great, right? Might I suggest you appear on that show, Mr. Justice? As the excellent, we used to make ridiculous bluffs in the course, and faded sadly into obscurity. And let the Ratings Raja produce my TV debut? Not in his lifetime. You have great reactions. Who knows? TV might be your true calling. Hey, whose side are you on? In any case, I was overseeing production of this program during the Penrose performance. Fire! Yeah, no, I've already asked your staff. How do we know those staff members aren't in cahoots with you? I make it my business to perform solo. My magic has neither need nor want of assistance. After all, one of them could reveal the secrets behind my magic, could they not? So he doesn't trust anybody, huh? He's the complete opposite of Trucy. There were many people there in the studio audience who saw the witness as well. Even if he had been able to persuade his own staff to cover for him, he could not have convinced so many complete strangers to do the same. He really has made a rock-solid alibi for himself. Yeah, it's almost too good, you know? It's eerie how perfect it is. Has all been revealed to you now? And there it is, a simple and perfect alibi. No tricks, no gimmicks, just the truth.
Hold it!
I've got it. Do you have a brother? A brother that looks exactly like you, maybe? Again with the twins business. You think the audience will let you get away with using the same gimmick twice in a row? If you do not believe him defense, why not investigate for yourself? Though I'm sure your efforts will prove to be thoroughly fruitless. Yeah, I guess the twins theory is a little far-fetched. His alibi really is airtight. I believe we've heard enough. While I believe the witness does indeed harbor some ill will against the defendant, there is no reason to doubt that he was at the TV station at the time of the incident.
Yes, the facts prove it was impossible for the witness to have been involved with this crime. These last rites for the victim have dragged on long enough. The soul of the victim himself is so bored that it is resting on top of Your Honor's head.
It is?
The time has come. Let us punish this sinner and guide the victim's soul to the Twilight Realm.
Apollo, Trucy will be thrown in prison, and will be out of a job. But if you catch tasty fishies, will you sell me some at a good price? I told you, I have absolutely zero intention of going off on a tuna boat. Think, Justice. You have to figure this out. It's no use. I can't find a single flaw. So what now? Behold my never-ending magic show. Come for the awe-inspiring showmanship of the great Mysterious, and stay for my grand illusion until the end of time. Ha ha ha!
What's he saying? We're still trapped inside some sort of illusion of his?
Right, misdirection. Turnabout. Could it be? You know what, Mr. Raidens? I guess we have all been spectators to the elaborate illusion you prepared for us. An illusion that has suddenly turned our attention towards something you wanted us to see. What are you going on about, lad? Have you got something, Apollo? I just remembered something Trucy said about misdirection. What a magician says is there really isn't, and what they say isn't there actually is. If we've all been taken for a ride by Mr. Rayton's magic, then maybe he's made us see something that wasn't really there. It's time to rethink all of my assumptions about this case. What have we been made to believe was there when it actually wasn't? What have we taken to be the absolute facts of this case? If I reevaluate the validity of all of these things, then just maybe... Athena, there's something uncanny about this case. Okay, what is it? Ritten's alibi. It's too perfect. It's true, it's like it's impossible to break, no matter how hard we try. And maybe that's the trick. Maybe that's exactly what he wants us to think. I'm not following. We're not making any headway here because we've been so focused on breaking his alibi. Oh, I think I get it. You're saying he's using misdirection on us, right? It's definitely a possibility. Would the defense care to share with everyone what it's discussing over there? Your Honor, we believe that if we were to reconsider a certain assumption, we may finally arrive at the truth. In fact, I think we'll even finally see who's hiding behind the curtain, so to speak. And what is this certain assumption you're thinking of? This is the one key assumption we've been taking for granted this whole time. We've definitely not been taking his guilt for granted. Or that. Oh no, okay, the culprit. It's not talking about Roger specifically. We were taking for granted that the fact that the culprit was on scene. Because what if he wasn't? Because clearly he wasn't. What if the culprit was somewhere other than the theater at the time of the crime? What if there was some way to commit the murder without actually being there? If that were the case, then Mr. Rayton's perfect alibi would become irrelevant.
Objection.
How could one person stab another to death with a sword without physically being there? Furthermore, we all saw what appears to be a culprit's shadow in the village.
Objection.
But couldn't we just as easily assume that the shadow does not belong to the culprit? Well, if it's not the culprit's, then whose is it? I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm on the right track. We've all seen something that looks like this shadowy shape before, Your Honor, during the magic show itself. In that case, please point it out in the show footage for us. Can I fast forward? I've already mentioned this, so I apologize for doing that. But keep going and wait for it. Wait for it. And frame by frame. There it is.
Take that!
Mr. Hat, going up. Out of the smokescreen. Doesn't this shadow resemble the suspicious shadowy figure? Now that you mention it, it does, doesn't it? Miss Wright, could you identify the shadow for the court? Let's see, I believe that's Mr. Hat's shadow. It's from when he's being pulled up from the stage to the catwalk overhead by wire. Then could the shadow that's shown later in the footage be Mr. Hat too? No, that's not possible. After Mr. Hat was pulled up to the catwalk, he stayed up there. In other words, the second shadow is from some other figure being pulled up. Some other figure? I'm afraid you'll need to be more specific than that, Mr. Justice. He's right, we've come this far. I'll just have to figure it out from the clues I have on hand. What is the second shadow shown in the footage? Why do I have... Oh, that's why. I was like, wait, why am I looking at the evidence? Because the second shadow was, him.
Take that!
So I guess I'm looking at the body. If we consider what was happening on the stage at the time, there's only one answer. The shadow belonged to the fake Mr. Rios. In other words, Mr. Man of Mystery. The victim? Please take a look at this prank plan script. Mr. Mystery was to pretend to be dead, and then fly up into the air after that. Isn't that right, Mr. Ratens? Indeed, and what of it? I contend that that's exactly what happened. The victim was wearing a stunt harness around his waist. It was most likely attached to a stunt wire so that he could be pulled up into the air. So you're suggesting that after pretending to be dead in the coffin, the victim flew up into the air, just as the prank script says? Exactly. We just couldn't see him go flying up because the dragon was blocking our view. And that last trick, ladies and gentlemen, is a true piece de resistance of the culprit's murderous magic show. Don't tell me, you've got it all figured out. Yes, I think so. If we can just look beyond Mr. Raiden's last bit of misdirection, we should finally be able to see the real truth. The victim must have been pulled up to the catwalk, just like Mr. Hat, and hit the cushioning up there with considerable force. Just have to figure out what else happened up there at that time. Are you ready to elaborate, Mr. Justice? Yes, Your Honor. I'm ready. In that case, please answer me this. Why did the culprit make the victim fly up into the air like that? To murder him. Just why did the culprit have the victim fly up after he appeared in the coffin? And how did the victim actually die when he was only pretending to be dead in the coffin? If we can figure out how these two questions relate, the answers should become clear. Could it be? Mr. Mystery must have thought he was still just part of a prank when he appeared on stage. He wasn't dead in that moment. He probably didn't suspect a thing as he was being pulled into the air. After Miss Wright was called backstage and just as the set piece fell. But the culprit had already planted the real murder weapon in the cushion on the catwalk. It was probably a knife or blade of some sort. What? You mean... Yes, it really was a magical murder. Just as the prank script says, Mr. Mystery was whisked up into the air. Ugh. and straight into a blade there in the catwalk. So he was still alive during the show when everybody was panicking. He was fine. Until then. In other words, this murder was committed remotely through the use of a magic trick. What? Remotely? Using this method, it wouldn't matter where Mr. Raytons was at the time of death. Yeah. It was a cape the whole time, not a sweater. But how exactly does it work, Mr. Justice? "3D models." Just before the murder occurred, the dragon set piece was up at the catwalk. And Mr. Man of Mystery were connected to each other by a wire at the time. By carrying out the prank plan, Betty made the dragon set piece fall, which caused Mr. Mystery to rocket straight up and into the blade in the cushion. The cushion was high up enough to be hidden from the audience's view. That's why nobody saw the blade. Oh, then that big gash in Mr. Hat's cape! The blade must have been set up overhead sometime before the magic show. Mr. Hat must have been slashed by it too when he was pulled up to the cushion. I can't believe it! I had no idea! I was told that Trucy would freak out if I made the set piece fall. That's the only reason I did it. You were used, Betty. Roger Raytons used you. I thought he was my little puppet to boss around, but it was the other way around. After the incident occurred, Mr. Raytons arrived at the theater. He got the murder weapon and swapped the rubber sword with the bloodied steel one. That's also when he lowered the victim's body down to the stage. But how did he have time to do all of that? When the set piece fell, the audience was evacuated from the building. He was able to do all these things after the fact because there was no one around to see. A horrific murder camouflaged by a spectacular magic show. That sounds like the kind of murder only a magician could pull off. As long as the show proceeded as it was scripted, Mr. Mystery was doomed to die. That's why it was you, Mr. Raytons, who killed the victim all the way from the TV station. This prank plan, or should I say murder plan, proves your murderous intent. Grammar-eye!
Shut to them!
What are you saying, man? Enough. You dim-witted, ignorant, imbecilic, putrid red pepper. Who, me? He can't possibly have a counter-argument to make. Talk about not knowing when to let it go and move on. Do you have a rebuttal or something, Prosecutor Sunmati? No blade of any kind was found in the catwalk, which means you have no evidence to support your theory. But Mr. Raytons retrieved it after the fact. Which still leaves you with no way to prove your wildly fantastic remote murder theory. But without proof, does it not make more sense to believe that the murder was committed there on the stage? That's where the bloodstained sword was found, after all. That is a very good point. As the only person who could have committed the crime there on that stage, Trucy Wright remains the prime suspect. It would appear that what you call truth is little more than a cheap parlor trick. In the end, you've done nothing to prove the accused innocence. It is time, at last, to let it go and move on. Oh! Are you seeing this, Magnifique Grammar-eye?
My magic is exacting punishment on your granddaughter. The grammar I name is done for.
Apollo, we need to hit them with a decisive piece of evidence here.
I know, that's just what I was thinking. Mr. Justice, do you or don't you have anything to prove that the witness committed this remote murder you proposed?
Of course I do, Your Honor. This entire incident was carried out exactly according to the script.
Right, so theoretically, there should be no evidence left for us to find or use. Which means our best bet is to see if something unscripted happened. There's gotta be something Rayton's couldn't have foreseen. And once I find it, that's how I'll expose his murderous trick. Get ready, Mr. Raytons, because I'm about to reveal the secret to your magic. There are no tricks or gimmicks here, just some good old-fashioned logic. Zoom it! As long as the magic show went as scripted, murder would happen without fail. Apologies, guys. Apparently my computer is tired of these long recording sessions. That makes two of us, computer. Makes two of us. I don't know what happened. The recording just stopped. So hopefully we didn't cut out too much. Luckily, I can go back here, so if we miss something... As long as the magic show went as scripted, the murder would happen without fail. That was what we just said. Everything in this case was carefully planned so that no evidence would be left behind. Still, one thing happened that definitely wasn't in the plan. What part of the magic show wasn't a part of the show's original script? Bonnie's mistake. Bonnie made a mistake during Tracy's escape trick. Her life choices. Mr. Hat's position. Because Bonnie placed Mr. Hat to the right of the coffin instead of the left, Tracy had to reappear on the side of the coffin opposite the one in the show's script. But the culprit didn't know that when he first arrived at the theater, which means he was bound to make a slip-up when he tampered with the crime scene. Blood in the coffin hole. So it would have to be in the same place that she pulled the sword out of. Thinking Tracy had appeared on the left, the culprit must have put the blood on the left hole. But the blood was eventually discovered in the right hole during the police investigation. If the killer had originally put the blood on the left side, that means he must have tampered with the scene again afterwards to make it line up with the facts. To make the crime scene consistent with the facts, the culprit must have swapped the coffin sides. That's right. The left and right panels of the coffin are interchangeable. The culprit must have switched the two panels to make the bloodstain fit the facts. But that switch must have also given rise to something unnatural. Oh, I remember now. There was something unnatural about the coffin, and it's just the evidence I need. Sorry, Mr. Raytons, but I have some very conclusive proof of your guilt. Another bluff, is it? There's no way you have anything of the kind. My magic is real, no... Not this time. No, there are tricks and gimmicks to it, just like any other illusion. What? After the murder? You switched the left and right panels of the coffin, didn't you? And because you did, you left behind something very unnatural for us to find. This proves that Roger Redson's tampered with the crime scene after the murder took place. I thought it was on the other. Clearly I should have just gone right.
Take that!
The fingerprinting results? What about the fingerprints is unnatural? Let's take a look at the prints the victim left inside the coffin, shall we? The victim was facing forward in the coffin. His prints should have looked like this. However, what we found was they were facing the opposite direction. It's quite unnatural for the prints to be facing this way, wouldn't you agree?
It is strange, isn't it? But how did they get this way?
They got this way because the culprit thought the magic show had gone according to the script. The culprit thought Mr. Hat would be on the left side of the coffin. And then Miss Wright would also pop up to the left side of the coffin, as per the show's script. He then assumed she had thrust the sword into the hole on the left side of the coffin. That's why he put the blood on the left hole when he was trying to cover up his crime. But sometime after leaving the bloodstain, the culprit must have realized his mistake. He found out that due to Bonnie's mistake, Mr. Hat was to the right of the coffin. And that despite the script, Miss Wright had thrust the sword into the hole on the right. In short, the hole with the blood on it was on the side opposite of the one Trucy used. To make the blood's location fit the facts, he had to tamper with the evidence yet again. So he tried to cover his tracks by switching the coffin's left and right panels.
Oh, that's how the fingerprints in the coffin ended up backwards.
Because the culprit switched the two side panels around, the prints ended up facing the opposite direction. Oh, that was the judge. I'm sorry.
The prints ended up facing the opposite direction.
Yeah, oops, my bad.
But instead of going to all that trouble with the panels, why didn't the culprit just wipe the blood away and redo the other side?
I'm afraid that wouldn't have worked, Your Honor. Because of a little something called luminal testing.
Ah, right. Luminal. I almost forgot. Luminal can detect trace amounts of blood, even if it's been wiped away, right?
That's right. Wiping the blood away would have only served as proof of his meddling. How about it, Mr. Ratons? I did a pretty good job figuring out your trick, didn't I?
Objection.
Trucy Wright could have done the same just as easily. You have no proof that it was the witness who tampered with the evidence.
Objection.
But I do have proof. What? A person who was in the magic show would never have made the mistake of putting the blood on the wrong side. Least of all Miss Wright, who surely would have remembered she was on the other side.
Oh my, you're absolutely right.
What you impudent. I'm sure you've realized by now, Prosecutor Sadmati, that your claim that Miss Wright is the culprit just doesn't hold up. You and the accused almost certainly.
Objection.
Really? Miss Wright and I? Because I think you're the one with the ticket there for trying to convict an innocent girl. Harsh.
Prosecutor Sadmati, are you alright?
As for the true culprit, he is someone who knew how the show was supposed to go but didn't actually see it, and someone who had the chance to tamper with the crime scene after the incident, and the only person who fits the bill is you, Roger Ratons.
Grammari!
All of the secrets to your tricks have been revealed. And with no tricks left, I'm afraid your show has been cancelled. Permanently. And again. All of my secrets have been revealed, you say. Don't make me laugh, boy. Mine is the true, real magic. There are no secrets to reveal. Behold, ladies and gentlemen, the true power of the great mysterious. Witness the magic far greater than Troop Grammar Eyes. Burn! Crumble! Fall to my furious flames. The great mysterious will bring an end to you all. And now for the final heir to the Grammar Eye name, right here, right now, you two shall burn. Huh? No, this isn't right. Oh, that's terrifying. Ah! No, I didn't do anything wrong. No! It's not my fault. I'm not the one to blame. I'm the victim here.
What? Ah! Stop! No! Curse you, Grammari! Curse those Grammaris. It's all because of them. Even now they wound me. Curse them all to the abyss. Do you really hate us that much? Does your hatred run that deep? Deep enough to kill an innocent man? Yeah, I was gonna say, this guy was his fan. And he just killed him so that he could do this weird plot thing. You have no idea what humiliations I had to suffer. Your grandfather, Magnifi Grammari, kicked me out after I got hurt practicing my magic. He said I was too unskilled, that I would mess up on stage. He threw me out of the troupe just because he was worried about his own reputation. Since I was but a child, it was always my dream to become a great magician. But that Magnifi, he took it all from me. But that's no excuse. There's no reason to do something so evil. Magic's supposed to make people happy, not used as a means for murder. What's the big deal? I just used what I had available to me, that's all. I get it now. That attitude toward magic. That's why my grandfather kicked you out. You don't deserve to call yourself a magician. Don't deserve? I don't know about that. After all, you were completely taken in by my magic, were you not? If not for that lawyer over there, you would be on your way to prison as we speak. You're right. I didn't see through your tricks. You see? So in the end, True Grammari was defeated by the great Mysterious. You're not fit to lecture me from on high, Trissy Wright. You don't even deserve to call yourself a magician, you naive greenhorn. Take that, Grammari, you lose. If anyone needs to learn to let it go and move on, it's this guy. This court of my prison can both burn in the flames of my creation. They always laugh. Bailiff, take Mr. Radens away. And bring a fire extinguisher just to be safe. Yeah, that's a good point. Pat him down. Make sure he doesn't have any more tricks on him. It looks like we've reached the end. I feel as though I've been watching a grand magic show. It was close, but we just barely made it through somehow. Huh? Why does Trissy look so down? Miss Wright. Yes, Your Honor? I'm about to announce my verdict. Could I see that wonderful smile of yours? The smile of a true entertainer, as I do. Yes, Your Honor. Now, this court finds the defendant, Trissy Wright, not guilty. Confetti, celebrations, happiness, joy, yay. Smiles all around. Bouncing smiles. I have a feeling this game's gonna be full of long cases, guys. Court is adjourned. But that one was fun. I like the magic tricks. I like the focus on Trissy. The cleverness of the case, as always, is fun. How it has us led in one direction about thinking that he was killed under stage, and then thinking he was killed on stage, and then the whole time he was killed after the fact, above the stage, in the catwalk. Thank you for everything, Polly. Oh, Trucy! Grazie a Dio! Now you can open your show tomorrow, just as planned. Yep, and it's all thanks to you two. Oh, but now that Mr. Rios is gone, I'll need to find somebody to replace him. I don't like the way she's looking at me. Trucy, I'm so sorry about everything. Hey, what are you apologizing for? Roger Ritten's used us. We're victims too. He even made me an accomplice to murder. But Betty, we have to take some of the blame for this too, you know? Even if we didn't know it was planning to kill Mr. Mystery, we did cooperate with him. It's all my fault, isn't it? Neither one of you is to blame. The only one in the wrong is the person who used magic to commit murder. Roger Ritten's. Don't you think I know that? Say what you want, but don't think for a second that I don't still hate you. I guess she really does hate me. But Betty, why? You used to be a huge fan of Trucy's. Hey, shut up! I've always hated her. Really? But if we hadn't seen Trucy's magic show, we never would have tried to become professional magicians ourselves, right? So speak for yourself. But Betty, you still have her autograph from that day. Gah! Just shut up! Was she acting that way this whole time because she secretly loves Trucy? Wow, Trucy, I never knew that being the best could be so tough. Come on, Bonnie, we're leaving. We have to get ready for tomorrow's show. You're really excited about performing with Trucy again, aren't you? That's not true! So zip it, dummy! Admit you're a fan. Polly, do you think I really am a naive greenhorn? Huh? No way. She's not. Maybe if there were less flashbacks to the same part of the game, it would be a little shorter. Trucy, don't tell me you're taking what Raiden said to heart. Well, maybe a little. I didn't see through his tricks, and I let myself be taken in by his magic. I can't trust myself anymore. Maybe he was right to call me a greenhorn. You shouldn't take stock in his words. He doesn't even know the first thing about you. Huh? You're a wonderful grammar magician. You should be proud of yourself. Thank you, Apollo. But what makes you say that? I know you're a wonderful grammar magician because of this.
Take that!
My grandfather's notebook? The Grammar Creed. A true entertainer always keeps a smile on their face. When you performed your magic trick in court today, you showed the world your dedication to your troops' creed. Even through all the jeering, you kept a smile on your face and won the crowd over. You are everything Magnifique could have hoped for in an heir. You're a great magician, Trucy. A great magician? Me? You really are. That's why you don't have to worry about what Raiden said. Oh, Polly, thank you. Still, I couldn't have done it without you. I would have lost my nerve if I'd been up there all alone. But I was able to keep on smiling because of you. Me? I remembered what you said to me in the detention center. Your words were what kept me going. Apollo, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now I can be everything I was meant to be. Trucy's real smile is the best. I'm so glad I could help make that happen. Emma? I'm really sorry, Trucy, for everything. But why? Well, I wasn't able to convince Prosecutor Sadmati what a good person you are. And I had to testify against you, too. You have nothing to apologize for. You were just doing your job. You're too kind. Oh, I don't know about... Huh? Is something wrong, Emma? Oh! Prosecutor Sadmati. Oh, Prosecutor Sadmati? He actually said that. What are you doing here? Detective Sky. Yes? I require your forensic expertise in order to close this case. Come, let us go. Wait! Prosecutor Sadmati! The trial is over, Mr. Justice. You and I are strangers once more. With no further need to interact. Strangers? Have you really forgotten all about me? What? You've really changed, Nayuda. Telling me to let it go and stuff? What happened to you? Oh, lawyer of impure soul. I have nothing to say to the likes of you. Are you serious, Nayuda? Now, if you'll excuse me. There he goes. What was that all about, Apollo? How do you know Prosecutor Sadmati? Let's just say we're old acquaintances. Acquaintances? It seemed like something more than that. Yeah, well. You don't like to talk about your past, do you? Because you always change the subject. I guess I'll have to talk about it someday. But for now, come on, let's forget about the past and celebrate Trucy's future. Sure, if you say so. Hey, it's Mr. Wright. Put him on speakerphone, Apollo. What's up, Mr. Wright? Apollo, how's Trucy? What happened at the trial? Did you get a not guilty verdict? Mr. Wright, slow down. Everything's fine. Hi, Daddy. I'm okay now. She was found not guilty in a very dramatic turnabout. Plus, we saved the office. It was a great victory for Apollo. Phew, that's a load off my mind. I can't thank you enough, Apollo. Now I know I can trust you to hold down the fort any time. Me? Really? Yes, you. You're a real full-fledged lawyer now in my eyes. A full-fledged lawyer? I still can't wrap my mind around it. Thank goodness you were there to take care of everything. And thank you, Apollo. And no need to go that far, boss. Especially not in front of everyone. Oh, and by the way, I won't be able to make it to tomorrow's show, so I was hoping you could go. You'll do that for me, won't you? Of course! I wouldn't miss it for the world. Full-fledged. So Daddy asked you to come to tomorrow's show, huh? As my assistant, right? No. He just asked me to go cheer you on. Okay, then I'll be sure to save you the best seat in the house, Polly. The best seat in the house? I really appreciate the thought, but... Good, then it's settled.
Objection!
I should have known. That this was what she meant! Magical girl Trucy Wright will now perform her greatest illusion yet. There are no tricks or gimmicks here, ladies and gentlemen. This is real magic. Wait a minute, you're kidding, right? There is a trick or gimmick, right? I'm too young to die! Now then, Mr. Hat, you know what to do with that sword. No, wait, stop! No! Ah! And that's how Trucy and Grammar Island ended on a rousing high note. With a big round of applause and Polly's ear-splitting screams. What kind of an ending is that? One that was a long time coming. Whew, thanks for sticking around, guys. This game is weird and long. I don't know why. And I'm afraid, though, because I know how many parts the Rite of Turnabout is, because, again, I look into this stuff ahead of time. But, I don't... If it's as many parts as it is, and each of those parts are 3 hours long, it's gonna be a really long game, you guys. Well, anyway. This is my favorite case of the game. The magical stage show, all of the twists and turns, and of course the being at home with Trucy, Apollo, and Athena, and all of their gimmicks. Yeah. Also, apparently, and I think this is why this is considered Apollo's trilogy. Apollo's got some past with Prosecutor Sadmati, and I'm kind of remember things going on. Like I said, I remember overarching things, but not the full-on details, because there's a lot about this game that I do not remember. It's been a long time since I played it. So, yeah, this was my favorite case of the game. I hope you enjoyed it, even though it was another long one. I don't want to stay too long talking about it, because we've got a lot going on. But, oh, hey, look at that. Here's a little sneak preview for you of who we're going to see in the next one. I think that this is just about the best time to sign out. We'll see you soon. Talk to you guys then.